Again, I'll run you through the lineups for Olympiacos. Salakis in goal. Rodney, Retsos, Carmo and Ortega in a back four. Chiquinho, Heza, Iborra in midfield. For Tunis, Prudence and El Kaabi up front. For Fiorentina, Terracciano is the keeper. Dodo, Milenkovic, Quarta and Biraghi in their back four. Artur, Mandragora and Bonaventura in midfield. Kouame and Gonzalez either side of Belotti up front. Players getting ready for the off, and I think it'll be Fiorentina that will have the honour of getting us underway on TalkSport 2. So Atalanta have already shown just how strong Italian football is right now. The only team to inflict defeat on Bayer Leverkusen this season. What of Fiorentina and their chances of creating more Italian success in European competition against an Olympiacos side in their first ever European final. Underway on TalkSport 2. Fiorentina kicking from right to left as we look in that change strip of all white. Olympiacos with those red and white striped shirts, red shorts and socks. And straight away on the halfway line, Giacomo Bonaventura trying to drift away from Vicente Iborra, but the vastly experienced midfielder got the better of him, and immediately Olympiacos look to try and send the ball long up to halfway, but they can't keep it in play. It's out for a throw on the far side, 0-0.
Yeah, always these early moments in any of these big matches really important. We're seeing images of Jose Luis Mendilibar here, just in a pretty pensive sort of mode, deep in thought, hoping that his team get off to a really positive start.
Coached at 15 Spanish clubs, Jose Luis Mendilibar, including Sevilla, where he won the Europa League last season. And he came in to steady the ship after another torturous season. Evangelos Marinakis, who we now know as Nottingham Forest owner, has always been a fairly brutal owner of Olympiacos, and this season's been no exception.
Yeah. At least when you walk through the door at Olympiacos, Dance, you know that you might as well get on with it straight away. No point in, never mind this project and building for the future and all of that sort of talk.
Carlos Carvajal found that out.
Yeah, it's all about the here and now. You've got to win games.
He's one of the three managers that didn't last the season at Olympiacos. It's back with their keeper, Konstantinos Tsoulakis, to 21 years of age and one of a few academy graduates that's made his way through the Olympiacos ranks. Made some vital saves in the penalty shootout against Fenerbahce in the knockout stages. In midfield it is with Artur, looking to send the ball out to the right-hand side for Dodo, but the Fiorentina right-back can't keep it in play, and Olympiacos have a throw. A couple of minutes gone in Athens. It's Olympiacos 0, Fiorentina 0.
Yeah, I'm just intrigued to see how high a line Fiorentina want to hold against this Olympiacos team.
Well, El Kaabi just trying to combine with Fortounis, his captain, on halfway, but trying to be a bit too clever, and that'll have Milenkovic to win it back for Fiorentina, but then foul committed by right-back Dodo gives Olympiacos a free kick.
What they did particularly well against Aston Villa, whenever they turn the ball over in midfield, they very, very quickly release those front players. And if they can go into beat and allow them to turn and then run themselves, they will do, but they're not afraid of going long and in behind and keep pressurising, forcing mistakes.
Biraghi for Fiorentina, their captain and left-back, clears the ball downfield, but it doesn't reach halfway. Iborra got his head to it, but Fiorentina win possession back inside their own half. Kouame making a run inside left channel. They tried to find him, but he was actually being well marshalled by Rodney, the Olympiacos right back, and the ball just sails through to the Greek goalkeeper. Anyway, 0-0.
Yeah, Rodney, the right back for Olympiacos, is a real warrior. He's not always possessing the greatest quality at the top of the field.
Lovely turn on halfway by Chiquinho, sending the ball out to Prudence, left-hand side for Olympiacos. Gets to the edge of the area, tries to drive it, it's tipped wide by Terracciano for a corner kick early on to Olympiacos, as a little grass cutter from Daniel Prudence nearly snuck in the far corner. 0-0.
Yeah. Lovely play on the halfway line. Have a little give and go, and then that ball immediately releases Daniel Prudence, who's quick, far too quick for the fullback. Dodo there, a good shot, and the goalkeeper does well to turn that way for a corner.
Right wing corner for Fortounis, the captain. Actually plays it short. There's a run by Rodney, plays it across the 6-yard line. Great defending by Bonaventura, as there were red and white shirts herring in to try and tuck the ball in. It's still in play out on the left-hand side for Fiorentina inside their own defensive third. They do get it clear.
Wow.
Lovely touch from Kouame, and now he's away on the Fiorentina counter. Early ball, trying to find his teammate on the far side. It will be picked up by Nicolas Gonzalez. Down by the corner flag. Gets into the right side of the area. Great run from Gonzalez. Pulls it back. Kouame swing and a miss. Belotti drives it wide. Chances at both ends within seconds in the opening 5 minutes of this final, but it stays 0-0.
Oh, brilliant play that from Fiorentina. So they just bared their own teeth there, having been on the receiving end for perhaps since the start of the game, really. All of a sudden, Kouame, brilliant pressure relieving run over the halfway line. Eventually, the ball ends up at Gonzalez on the far side. He takes it right to the byline, cuts it back. Belotti's shot is a weak one, and it's always wide of the target. But just for a split second there, Fiorentina showing exactly what they're all about as well.
Encouragement for both sets of fans in these early minutes that there's intent from both Olympiacos and Fiorentina. Lovely little skip over the defender from Kouame to get away in the first instance, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, he picked that ball up about almost level with the 18-yard box, his own 18-yard box, and within seconds he has gone past 2 or 3 red and white shirts. Big switcher play, and they very nearly made them pay.
5 minutes gone, 0-0 on TalkSport 2 in the Europa Conference League final. Olympiacos in possession with their right back Rodney, rolling the ball up to the halfway line. Looked like a push on Fortunis by Biraghi, and that's been given as a free kick by the Portuguese referee. So it'll be right in between the two technical areas where this free kick will be taken. Mendilibar briefly off his bench, 63 years young. His opposite number, Vincenzo Italiano, only 46, but I think it was Andrea Belotti who said he's aged 10 years in each of the last 2 years coaching Fiorentina, because they like a late goal, Andy Townsend. They do like a late goal. They've scored a number after the 85-minute mark in games to get themselves over the line. 6 goals after the 89-minute mark in Europe this season alone.
That's a nightmare for managers, isn't it? It really is.
Iborra strong in the tackle, wins the ball, and now Fortunis for Olympiacos. Drifts through the centre circle, feeds Pedence on the left-hand side. Pedence up to the left-hand corner of the area, skips away from one man, rolls his foot on the ball, still has it. Out to Fortunis on the left wing now. El Khabi waiting for a cross. It doesn't come quite yet. Now the cross comes in from Ortega, and it's cleared away under real pressure. I think it was Lucas Martinez-Quarta that got the ball clear in the end.
Yeah, Iborra made a really good run, actually, a late run from the edge of the box. Sprinted towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and the ball in, very nearly found him good defending.
Throw in for Francisco Ortega of Olympiacos, their left back, yet to score since his move from Vélez Sarsfield in Argentina. Has to throw it back towards the halfway line, and eventually it does go all the way back to Panagiotis Retsos, one of the two centre halves for the Greek side. Now Rodney getting in behind down the right hand side, the right back gets to the byline. What's the cross like? Into the 6-yard line and volleyed clear by the defence for Fiorentina, and then Belotti goes down under a heavy challenge from Retsos, and that's given us a free kick by the referee. 0-0 it stays, 7 gone.
Really bright start to the game, 7.5 minutes in, and it's been really lively. Both teams, as soon as they get the ball, not hanging around, committing people forward. With the early shot from Pedence that the goalkeeper did really well to get his hand on and send it out for a corner. Then that very swift counter-attack from Fiorentina is going end-to-end at the minute.
Gonzalez, right-hand side for Fiorentina. Dodo on the overlap into a 6-yard box, and it's turned behind by Retsos for a corner kick, as suddenly another right-back gotten behind. This time Dodo for Fiorentina, but his cross turned behind for the Italians' first corner of the game. 0-0.
Really good play again from Dodo down the right side. Lots of really good work in the wide areas. Both teams trying to exploit little 2-on-1 situations when they get the chance, get that ball right to the byline. That's the area. When you get to that byline and cut balls back, it can be really difficult to defend those. So some excellent work already.
So Cristiano Biraghi, over 250 appearances for Fiorentina, will take a left-footed in-swinging corner. Actually rolls it short to Bonaventura, gives it back to Biraghi, tries to drive it in, and it's tucked in at the near post, but the flag is up. It had been tucked away by Milenkovic, it seemed. There were some belated cheers from the travelling Fiorentina support, but the offside flag denies it. VAR, I'm sure, will take a look, but as it stands, it's still 0-0.
Yeah, Milenkovic was offside, and he also made an attempt to play the ball. But certainly he didn't catch it, he didn't get the ball. He was actually clipped, Dancy, was it? It might have, if he wasn't offside, it might have even been a penalty as well. But the ball, clever little short corner, they played it short and just rolled it towards the near post. Milenkovic was in an offside position, did look like he tried to play the ball, was actually impeded a little bit. Referee's just checking it as we speak.
I think he's just giving the all clear, get on with it, to the goalkeeper.
That's the right call. That is the right call. Clever set play that though. Play the short corner, and then normally you get a ball that's whipped in perhaps towards the far post. That was then rolled towards the near post where Milenkovic was waiting, just a yard offside. 9
minutes gone on TalkSport 2 in the Europa Conference League final. Smashing opening between Olympiacos of Greece and Fiorentina of Italy. The winners of this match will go straight into next season's Europa League. And if that happens to Fiorentina, that will mean that Torino in 9th place will get their Europa Conference League spot that they currently have in 8th. They haven't even played their final league game yet this season, Fiorentina. Everybody else has completed their season apart from them and Atalanta, who won against Bayer Leverkusen last week in the Europa League final. So they will finally play out their final game on Sunday. Here comes Biraghi for Fiorentina over halfway. Lovely touch back to him by Kawame, who was on the deck. Biraghi to the byline, pulls a deep cross back to the penalty spot, headed out by Iborra, back defending for Olympiacos, but it's tidied up at the back, and it's back out to Biraghi on the left wing for Fiorentina. Charged into by Fortounis, couldn't keep it in play. Fortounis, it's a throw to Fiorentina, level with the Olympiacos penalty area on this near side. 0-0, 10 gone.
Yep, Fiorentina gradually starting to up their own game as well. They've actually played some really nice stuff in the last 4 or 5 minutes, getting both fullbacks, Dodo on the far side, on the right side, Biraghi here down on the left side, but both of those guys getting right to the opposing byline and whipping dangerous balls back into that box where there's good numbers in the box.
Biraghi with the throw headed up, straight up in the air by Kawame, and then an excellent brought down on the chest by Mandragora, but the volley goalwards didn't match the chest control, went well wide for a goal kick to Olympiacos. 11 minutes gone, 0-0. Ian Danter and Andy Townsend, the former Villa, Chelsea, Republic of Ireland midfielder, with you tonight for this Europa League Conference final, Champions League final, live on TalkSport on Saturday night.
Yep, on our monitors in front of us, we're seeing the semi-automated offside in action, which we're going to be seeing a lot more of next year, of course, in the Premier League.
Not from the start of the season, though. Doesn't that annoy you a little bit that we've got to wait for it to come in?
How long we got to wait, Dan? Have they said?
A couple of months, I think, at the very least. I don't think it's coming in right from the get-go, which, again,
that's odd.
Doesn't make any sense. Ball cleared away at the back by Quata for Fiorentina, but Olympiacos swiftly win the ball back inside the Fiorentina half. It's back with Rodney on halfway, just plays the ball backwards of square to Retsos, then Iborra splitting between the two centre halves, gives the ball to the tall David Carmo, and back it goes to Vicente Iborra. Leicester City fans will remember him arriving after the title success 7 or 8 years ago, and then a ball aimlessly clipped down the inside right channel by Olympiacos goes out of play for a throw to Fiorentina. 0-0, 12 minutes gone on TalkSport 2. So there's been a lot of tempo to this opening in this final, Andy Townsend.
Yep, I think both coaches will be encouraged by what they've seen with their own teams with the ball. And again, because they want to play aggressive front foot football, both teams, they're not sitting on the edge of their own 18-yard box defenders. They're looking to get up to the halfway line as soon as they can, which of course means when that ball is lost in those little turnover moments, there's always space to exploit, and we've seen that particularly through Biraghi and Dodo down the right side for Fiorentina, and also with Podence in particular for Olympiacos. He's been in a couple of times once they've pinched the ball. So again, in those transitions, that's really big moments.
Kawame picks up a loose ball and tries a speculative shot for Fiorentina that's deflected wide for a corner kick. Ball just dropped out the sky.
Bit hesitant, weren't they, at the back?
Yeah, and Kawame just seized on it, brought it down very nicely. The shot lacked a bit of power, but it took a deflection nonetheless, and Fiorentina have a corner, 0-0.
Yeah, the ball just bounced there, and Retsos and David Carmo and they weren't really sure, the pair of them, which one was going to go and attack it. Kouame it was who just leapt onto the ball and then just strode forwards to about 20 yards out, 22 yards out, hit a shot, and it's deflected out for a corner on the far side.
Which the captain Baraggi's gone across the tape. There is once again the potential for Bonaventura to get involved. He stood on the right hand corner of the penalty area, but Baraggi's looking into the box and takes a very deep corner, goes beyond everybody, bounces once and straight out of play for a goal kick. No more frustration for centre halves coming up for corner kicks like that when he goes nowhere near him.
Yeah, it's just overhit that completely, the left back. That's sailed out all the way out for a goal kick. So Olympiacos have a chance with Salakis to knock that ball forward. Interesting, Dan, look, they're not, the goalkeeper taking no chances. He hasn't got the defenders either side of him in the box. Every defender up on the halfway line, the goalkeeper knocking it long.
You're listening to Olympiacos 0, Fiorentina 0 in the Europa Conference League live on TalkSport 2 with Village Hotels. Visit villagehotels.com. TalkSport 2, your home of live football. Loads more live football to come. England's women take on France on Friday night on TalkSport. I mentioned Borussia Dortmund, Real Madrid in the Champions League. Our coverage starts at 6 p.m. on Saturday evening on TalkSport. And then the phony war begins ahead of Euro 2024 with Scotland and England involved in friendlies. TalkSport 2 on Monday, 4:45, Gibraltar against Scotland and England against Bosnia-Herzegovina on Monday evening at 7 o'clock. And of course, when it comes to the Euros, we're all over it. All 51 games live across the network from June the 14th, when Scotland have the little matter of taking on the hosts.
What a game that's going to be. What a night. Hopefully Steve Clark's boys can come flying out the box there. Nothing to fear, nothing to lose. Just be brave on those sort of occasions, and you never know what might happen.
Well, there's a former Republic of Ireland midfielder reminding everyone that you don't have to be the fancy team in a group to bloody some noses.
You certainly don't.
Free kick to Olympiacos. And it's very tight in the betting. You heard from Lee Phelps earlier, there's very little to choose between these two sides, meeting for the first time ever in their history. Olympiacos about to celebrate 100 years of existence. How they would love to mark their centenary by winning their first ever European final. Dodo, the Fiorentina right back, thought he was fouled. I thought he was fouled by El Kaabi as he put the ball out of play. It's been given as a throw, and Dodo worked really tenaciously to get the ball back and clear it downfield, but Iborra cushions a header down to David Carmo. He lifts it down the left wing for Olympiacos, asking for Chiquinho to give chase. But for the last 5 minutes or so, with the score at 0-0, Andy Townsend,
yes,
it's the game's got a bit more scrappy, hasn't it?
It has, and I think it's Fiorentina have been the better team for 10 minutes now. I think Olympiacos were nice and sharp and bright out the blocks, but the last 10 minutes I think Fiorentina have showed good composure in possession and have just looked a little more threatening. I think Olympiacos need to get Fortunis in the game a little bit more. Iborra, when he's been on the ball, has been very deep. Chiquinho hasn't really seen it an awful lot, and I like the way that Fiorentina are trying to play through this press,
which they have done, and got the ball over halfway down the left-hand side with Biraghi. A lively Kouame moves in field, leaves it for Artur, and he steps just in front of the centre circle and lifts it just out to his right foot. Dodo gives it back to the former Barcelona man, who's dispossessed by El Kaabi. Good work, and now Chiquinho brings the ball away, and there's a counter on for Olympiacos. Podence, left-hand side, level with the edge of the area, plays an early ball up to the edge of the box. Chiquinho looks to his right, spots Fortunis but can't find him. The pass is intercepted by Biraghi, but his crossfield ball left to right sails out of play. And that's an Olympiacos throw. 18 minutes gone, 0-0.
Chance there for Daniel Podence. I think put the ball in the box for El Kaabi. He's not had a cross or anything actually to feed off of yet, but Artur getting caught in possession, and then again very quickly the red and white shirts pouring forward, and Podence picked the ball up on the left side and coming on his right foot. I think he's got to look to whip that in for his striker.
Ball one on halfway for Olympiacos. It's good, strong, tenacious tackling by Santiago Hezet, and it'll be a free kick for a little foul by a Fiorentina midfielder. just in front of the centre circle, not quite the midway point of the Fiorentina half. Heza, I think, is going to leave it for Tunis, the captain, to take it. Slightly to the left of centre. Now he's spotted the ball down, the Olympiacos skipper. May well float it to the right-hand corner of the box, looking for the heads to go up. And Iborra and also Retsos are at that right-hand corner. Tunis lobs it in. The target is Iborra, and it just drifts beyond him and bounces behind for a goal kick to Fiorentina, 0-0.
It's only a yard away from that, Iborra. Clever little clip ball in from Tunis. Nice run from Iborra, but it just goes out quite harmlessly in the end for a goal kick.
Olympiacos are the first team to play a European final in their own country since 2018, when Marseille lost the Europa League final to Atletico Madrid. Here come Fiorentina with Dodo down the right-hand side. 20 minutes gone. Swung in by Gonzalez. Belotti dropped for a header. Bonaventura! Great chance, and he hit it straight at the goalkeeper from 10 yards out, and he puts his hands over his face. He knows Giacomo Bonaventura. That was a massive chance to give Fiorentina the lead, but it was straight at Salakis, 0-0.
Didn't hit it, did he? Really good cross off of the Fiorentina right side. It comes into the box. Belotti challenges for it. It comes back to Bonaventura inside the box. He takes one touch and then goes for kind of a big side foot. Doesn't really get any power on it. Easily read by Salakis and saved, but really good chance. I think it's one you just try and drive that with the top of your foot. And he went for a big side foot, never made the proper contact.
One big chance apiece then for both Olympiacos and Fiorentina. 20 minutes gone, and here are Fiorentina again. Bonaventura gets into the box this time, splitting the defence, but the shot was blocked by the keeper. Comes back to Bonaventura, left-hand corner of the area. Kouame in support, thinks about a cross, but then lays it off to Baraggi. Now the cross goes into the box. Belotti with a header straight against the defender. Belotti gets it back. Gonzalez tries to drive, and it's blocked by Carmo. And now Pedence will try and launch a counter-attack for Olympiacos. Gives it to Chiquinho. Back out to Pedence, who's got over the halfway line now, but Dodo is back goal side and tracking the run.
Wow. Really good situations. Bonaventura, seconds after that chance, found himself in another really good position. Just couldn't engineer the ball into a position to get that shot away, but the ball nearly dropping for Belotti a couple of times there. Some dangerous crosses raining into that Olympiacos 6-yard area.
And yet it stays 0-0 in the Europa Conference League final here on TalkSport 2. Carmo looking down the left-hand side for Ortega. Fiorentina get it halfway, but the nippy Pedence on loan from Wolves is on the scene to win possession back for the Greek side. I know there's a load of Olympiacos fans watching on giant screens south of this stadium back in Piraeus, the port city of Athens, and there's 30,000 Fiorentina fans in the Stadio Artemio Franchi. They've sold that out for a beam back of the game to their own stadium, Fiorentina.
Well, those Fiorentina fans will have been excited a couple of times over the last 6 or 7 minutes. I think they've had a really good spell in the game. For quarter of an hour now, they've been the better team.
Mandragora feeds the ball out to the left wing, and the number 99, Christian Kouame, does well to keep hold of the ball. Very tall, rangy looking left side of midfielder Christian Kouame, joined from Genoa 4 or 5 years ago, the Ivorian. And he's looked quite lively in these early stages. One terrific run early on where the crossfield ball didn't match the initial skill to get away from his man. 0-0.
Yeah.
Midway through the first half. Andy Townsend.
We're seeing Jose Luis Mendilibar quite animated. He needs to get his striker involved in the game. Okabe is a passenger at the moment. He's just watching everything that's going on. He's hardly on a kick.
Fortunis is now in behind Baraggi. Just a little tug of the shirt by Baraggi, but on they go, Olympiacos. Ball's into the area. Chiquinho lobs the ball over the defender, and it take a deflection, did it? Yes, it did take a deflection. Corner kick to Olympiacos, away to our right, 0-0.
Yeah, when they play quite direct and look to go in behind Fiorentina, I think that's when Olympiacos are at their best. Again, I'll make the point, they've got to try and get Okabe involved in the game. Just seeing a rerun of that chance for Bonaventura a few moments ago. What a great situation it was. He just didn't make the right contact. Nothing worse for a midfield player. When you get the ball off your chest, you just don't hit it well.
Corner kick for Olympiacos. A packed 6-yard box to the near post for this in-swinging corner. And just as Chiquinho was about to strike it, he heard the sharp blasts of the Portuguese referee's whistle. There was a Fiorentina player flat on the deck. I think it's Mandragora who's down there.
Yeah. David Carmo might have sort of been in and around that.
Few histrionics.
Yeah. Actually, that was Podence there. He was just trying to keep his body in front of the near post.
Here comes the corner from Chiquinho into the near post. Podence got the flick on it. It's well held on the goal line by Terracciano, because there was the slightest of flick headers at the near post from Daniel Podence on target, and he had to hold on to that because there were red and white shirts around him. But Terracciano made a good save to keep it 0-0.
Godot's slow there to react. How often you see that? At top level football, the ball whips into the near post and the attacking team getting that first contact. It should never happen. Must always have somebody in front of that attacker at the near post to deal with that corner that perhaps doesn't quite get up and doesn't quite beat everybody in that area. You must make first contact.
Here's Kouame for Fiorentina at the other end. Onside for the moment, but couldn't control the ball as it was floated over the back line of Olympiacos. He had his back to goal, tried to chest it down into his path and just couldn't quite get it under his spell.
Yeah, he backdanced. If he just turned there, he could have just turned and hit that. But the game is literally swinging from end to end, and both teams, when they get bodies in the right areas, look really dangerous.
Yeah,
they do.
There are holes to pick. Oh, and here's Olympiacos trying to win the ball on halfway and very nearly sent Podence clear, but back came Artur in the nick of time for Fiorentina to nick the ball away, as it looked like a 3-on-1 situation for a moment for the Greek side. Oh, Kouame's caught late there by Retsos, and that's a free kick to Fiorentina, about 10 yards inside the Olympiacos half of the field. 0-0.
That looked a little clumsy, that challenge there from Retsos on Kouame. And the Olympiacos centre-half is walking over, I think, just to talk to the referee. It's the right thing to do, apologise, pick him up, but he's stretching a little bit and he just catches.
There speaks the voice of experience. Apologise, pick him up.
Ref.
Yeah, hand on the referee's shoulder.
Come on, up you get some. I didn't catch you. Only 6 studs.
Thoughts of Andy Townsend, former Villa, Chelsea, Republic of Ireland midfielder, alongside me, Ian Dancer, on commentary tonight here on TalkSport 2. It's 0-0, but it's very, very enjoyable.
It is.
Free kick for Fiorentina. Berardi swings it out to the right-hand side of the box. It's headed back to the edge of the area. Bonaventura tries to get a touch, but Fortounis now has possession for Olympiacos. Almost immediately gives it away. 3 players around him in white shirts, and he ends up conceding a throw. The Olympiacos captain, he was properly set upon there as he tried to bring the ball clear.
Surrounded by white shirts there, Fortounis. Belotti it was who actually goes to ground, and in the end didn't touch the ball. It went out actually for a Fiorentina throw-in.
Biraghi, the left back for Fiorentina, scored in the Conference League this year for Fiorentina. I think he's in the Euro squad. Of course, we will see Italy at a major. We didn't see them at the Qatar World Cup, but they will be one of the teams to watch, I sense, in the upcoming Euros, live across the TalkSport network. Now, Daniel Podence scheming his way down the left-hand side. Good ball into the area. El Kaabi tries to turn his man, but Milenkovic was wise to it. Stood his ground, waited for the player to turn, and then just stuck his foot in and got it clear. 0-0.
Better from Podence, though. Get him wide, looking for his striker. I think El Kaabi's hardly had a kick, actually. First touch wasn't quite good enough, and Milenkovic read it really well and dealt with it.
Yeah, the classic case of first touch was a touch, second touch was a tackle.
Correct.
Free kick, and a yellow card has been issued by the referee for a foul on Dodo, and Daniel Podence, a little rueful look on his face as he becomes the first player booked tonight at 0-0.
Yeah, just a little late with that challenge, I think, but both teams, as you would imagine, after all, European final, anything that's loose, anything that's there to be won, both teams really committing to it. I think the referee's done well, actually, in the opening phase of this game. Just there, he's just felt that Podence maybe pushed it a little too far.
Now, Mandragora in the area goes down under a not particularly strong challenge from Hezet, and the referee says play on, and then El Kaabi with a really poor touch as the ball was fired up to him. That is very much the touch of a player who's not seen much of the ball.
Has it? No, and again, in that ball, it wasn't an easy one for him to control, but it needs to do better than that. Should easily be able to take that on his thigh and wait for someone and just bring others into the game.
Belotti for Fiorentina. Gets to the dead ball line, left-hand side. Thinks he's won a corner, but a goal kick is awarded as we approach the half-hour mark on TalkSport 2 in the Europa Conference League final. We've got the potential for extra time and a penalty shootout to decide who wins this trophy. Won by West Ham last year against Fiorentina with Jared Bowen's late winner. Balls out of play on the far side. Olympiacos thought they could launch a counter-attack. Vincenzo Italiano, just 46 years of age, he was appointed nearly 3 years ago at Fiorentina after winning promotion with Spezia and keeping them in Serie A after that promotion. And as I mentioned, he made changes in 141 consecutive matches before a couple of games in March. I think it was Rafa Benitez who kept changing teams week after week when he's Liverpool manager, Andy, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, I mean, lots of coaches do that now, don't they? The squads are bigger, they're more versatile in so many ways, so and you want to keep everybody involved. If you've got good squads, you've got to use them wisely.
And they secured 8th spot with a 3-2 win at Cagliari on the final day of most team seasons, apart from Fiorentina. Of course, that was when we said goodbye to Claudio Ranieri as a club manager, and it was Artur coming off the bench who actually got the critical winner in a 3-2 success to make sure that they couldn't be called by Torino for 8th spot. But I dare say, for the reasons I gave earlier, there'll be Torino fans back in Italy with Fiorentina scarves on tonight, hoping they get the job done so it hands Torino a spot in Europe next season.
How long, Dan, before we get the club tattooist? There's some very tasty looking tattoos on those Fiorentina players.
They are genuine works of art. I've just come back from a break in Italy and there's a lot of lovely artwork around there, but the artwork on the Fiorentina players, the club tattooist. Well, they have everything. They're probably you say it in jest, Andy Townsend, but I do wonder, there might be one somewhere. I couldn't believe there was a guy at a Premier League club who wrapped players' cars and didn't have to go anywhere else.
Is that right? Yeah.
Put that wrap on around players' cars. His only job is to work for one Premier League club. That's nice work if you can get it.
Yeah.
Here's Milenkovic for Fiorentina at 0-0. 31 minutes played on TalkSport 2. Serbian defender gets the ball up to halfway. Good flick on by Gonzalez. Belotti tucks it in field. And it's sent forward for Kouame on the chase, but the keeper, Solakis, bravely out to the edge of his area to head it clear for a throw into Fiorentina, 0-0.
Really good work from Solakis, that. Bright and alive, and first time ball that released Kouame, and he's onto it. Solakis has to head that right on the line, the edge of the 18-yard box, just before the big rangy striker could get his foot on it.
Only 21, Solakis. And he's yet to make 50 appearances for Olympiacos, but he's already proving himself to be quite a hero. He's made the breakthrough as number one keeper. He's enjoying himself out there tonight. It's 0-0 for Tunis, for Olympiacos. Lovely ball spread from right to left to find Pedence, but the flag goes up for offside, and a free kick is awarded to Fiorentina. And Dodo will get play restarted very quickly. Bonaventura. It finds its way to Mandragora, up to the halfway line, plays the ball short into the feet of Lucas Martinez Quarta. Mandragora again looking to feed his captain Baraggi down the left hand side, but got it all wrong, and it's out of play for an Olympiacos throw on their right hand side. And it was slightly ahead. Pedence looking at a replay of Milenkovic as the crossfield ball was hit, but certainly whilst Pedence and Tunis are seeing a fair amount of possession for Olympiacos, it's their goal machine in the middle that's really been starved of service so far. El Kaabi waits to really get involved in this game.
Yeah, just not again, and because Pedence off the left side for Olympiacos always steps in on his right foot, so that's not always ideal for a striker. Ideally, you'd like people going on the outside and whipping things in, and then they can run across the front of defenders and time their runs a little bit easier to get on the end of crosses.
Retsos for Olympiacos, the centre half, back for Solakis, the keeper, left-footed clearance downfield, looking for El Kaabi. couldn't win the header, but put Milenkovic off enough that Olympiacos were able to win a throw over on the far side of the field. 11 minutes to half-time on TalkSport 2 in the Europa League Conference Final. 0-0 the score. Don't forget TalkSport breakfast back tomorrow when you wake up with Ali McCoist and Gabby Agbonlahor in tow from 6 a.m. Or if you prefer a bit of music, Chris Evans from 6:30 on Virgin. If you've got the TalkSport app downloaded, you can listen to TalkSport, TalkSport 2, all the Virgin stations, and of course follow the election campaign on Times Radio and Talk Radio as well via the TalkSport app, free to download for your smartphone. Long rangey pass, looking to pick out Kouame on the left-hand side, he's overhit, and Olympiacos will have a throw in their right-back area. And Andy Townsend alongside him, he's doing Hawksby and Jacobs tomorrow.
I am.
With Charlie Baker from 1 in the afternoon.
I am indeed, I'm with Charlie, looking forward to that, but I'm enjoying the game, Dan. Enjoying this one. It's pretty end-to-end. And both teams, again, bearing in mind with what's at stake and the Europa League place next year as well, which is really important and really big for both of these two. You know, there's a lot happening out here tonight, but they're both having a go at it. No one's really holding back.
Very even in terms of possession as well. Maybe Fiorentina just shading it. Cadence tries to get away, but the ball slid out of play by Lucas Martinez Quarta. Throw into Olympiacos down the near side, the right. 12 minutes to half-time, and we wait for the deadlock to be broken. Rodney can't get away from Kouame, and in steps Belotti to win it back for Fiorentina inside his own half, though. Plays the ball in field to Artur. Just turns away from Chiquinho, the other number 6 out there. Then Bonaventura just waits for Hesse to get touch tight and then lays it off to his defender. Bonaventura again's made his way forward into the Olympiacos half. Kouame, very centre of the half, tries to play that to the left-hand side for Mandragora, but it was a poor pass, and Fortunis calmly plays the ball out left to Francisco Ortega. Podence rolling his foot on the ball, can't get away from Dodo. Good work from the Fiorentina right back, and the Italians in possession once again. Spiracci just shy of the halfway line, the left back lays the ball off to allow Mandragora to take over. Artur on the halfway line, plays the ball just to his right for Quarta. Now here's Nicolas Gonzalez getting up to the edge of the area. Toe pokes the ball through a couple of Olympiacos players. I'm not sure that was what he wanted to do. The ball just ran away from him a little bit. Olympiacos could clear to halfway, 0-0.
Vincenzo Italiano just taking a seat for a moment. One of the other technical staff standing in the area there, barking out the orders. Jose Luis Mendilibar hasn't really sat down yet in his opening 37 minutes.
He won the Europa League with Sevilla last year. Jose Luis Mendilibar. Throw in for Fiorentina, looking for Belotti, goes to ground. He was fouled, he was pulled to the ground by David Carmo, who protests his innocence, but it's a free kick to Fiorentina, quite a way to the right of centre, probably 25, maybe 27 yards out from goal, 0-0.
Do you know, defenders nowadays, they like to get so tight to strikers when the ball's knocked into them. David Carmo there, so close to Belotti, he can't really see the ball. And he's got his arms kind of around the Italian's waist, and Belotti crumples to the floor, gets the free kick.
I think Belotti had some of David Carmo's sock.
Yeah.
Trying to not grabbing hold of the shorts, grabbing hold of his left sock as he went to ground. But it is a free kick, and Verratti, a left-footed in-swinger, maybe to try and send the ball towards the far post and see if it gets a touch or not.
Yeah.
Deceives the goalkeeper.
Olympiacos holding the line about a yard inside their own 18-yard box, trying to stop those white shirts from making those runs between them.
And in fact, Verratti's going to leave it for Artur to tease the ball into the near post. It's flicked away, only as far as Bonaventura, down the left-hand side of the penalty area. Bonaventura chops it to the far post. Kouame keeps it in play. It drops for Nicolas Gonzalez, and a swing and a scythe and a shank over the bar for a goal kick for Olympiacos, and it stays 0-0 on TalkSport 2.
Just seeing whether Kouame was offside when that ball came in. I don't think he was, you know. It's a really good ball deep to the far post. Kouame rises, heads it back, but the strike in the end from Gonzalez is a poor one.
Well, they've had more efforts in this game. 8 shots, couple on target for Fiorentina compared to 2 on target for the Greek side Olympiacos. We've got 6 minutes to half time on TalkSport 2. Still 0-0. Chiquinho plays the ball out to Pedence on the Olympiacos left. Lovely ball into the area. El Kabi onside, but out comes the goalkeeper and makes a terrific save. And there was a foul by El Kabi as they both collided on the 6-yard line. But bravery from Pietro Terracciano, as just for once Ayoub El Kabi seemed to be clear after a lovely through ball from Pedence.
Yeah.
But it stays 0-0 still.
Really good ball from Daniel Pedence. And there was a real positive run from El Kabi. Unfortunately, the ball bounced about 2 yards in front of him and sat up about 8 feet in the air. And whilst he's trying to wait for it to come down, the goalkeeper comes flying out, thunders into El Kabi fairly, because he makes contact with the ball. Never a penalty. But certainly that was a lovely run from El Kabi. Good spot from Pedence, but the ball just wouldn't settle down for the striker in order for him to hit it.
So a bit of treatment being administered to El Kabi. Goalkeeper's back on his feet. He's all right. The vastly experienced Pietro Terracciano, been number 1 for 3 seasons at Fiorentina. 34-year-old. Kept 8 clean sheets in the league. Kept 3 clean sheets in the Conference League. And he will have a free kick as he was barged into by El Kabi. Maybe that will encourage the Olympiacos striker a little more though, Andy Townsend, that at least he's got to that position. Again,
he likes to run in behind and beyond people. That's what he did brilliantly over the 2 legs against Aston Villa. That's his strength, and that time there Pedence looked for him and was really close to finding him.
Bit of head tennis on the halfway line, but it drops for Olympiacos. Chiquinho leaves it for Pedence, who moves through the centre circle. Felt he was being pulled back. He was, but the referee says play on for Tunis. For Olympiacos in the centre of the Fiorentina half, tries to feed it out left for Ortega, but it came off the chest of a Fiorentina player. And now Biragi, the left back, gets his head up inside his own half, thinks about hitting a long ball downfield, now slides it down the left channel, asking Kouame to give chase. Kouame almost got there ahead of Retsos, who seemed very lackadaisical in getting to the ball.
Absolutely was, Dance, yeah. And then sluggish getting there.
And then Pedence is found by Quarta, and that's another yellow card. This time it's the first yellow card for a Fiorentina player, Lucas Martinez Quarta.
I thought Artur was lucky not to get a yellow card a few moments ago. The referee played the advantage. It was Daniel Pedence that just broke over the halfway line. But in the end, Quarta is what clatters into Pedence, and he's the one that receives the yellow.
Pedence still holding the small of his back. On loan from Wolves. Scored 15 at Olympiacos, Daniel Pedence.
I actually like him at Wolves, Dance, and I was a little surprised that they let him go out on loan, a little.
Well, if we are to assume that Pedro Neto is going to go, they need a supply line for next season. Pedence coming back to Molineux should fit the bill, you would think, for Gary O'Neill. Ball's out of play for a throw into Fiorentina meantime in their right back position. 0-0 it stays on TalkSport 2.
Yeah, he's busy, Pedence, he always is, and he's always on the move, and he's happy to have the ball to feet when he's closely guarded and closely marked. And he's very honest, he always runs his heart out. You know, he doesn't hold anything back, and he's not afraid of getting hit. I like him.
And he's been very lively in this opening half for Olympiacos. Has had a yellow card though. 0-0 it stays. 2 minutes of normal time remaining in this first half. Very neatly done by Retsos inside his own half at the back for Olympiacos. Rodney's right back now has it. Iborra in the centre circle, looks to play the ball through the middle. Pedence looks for El Kabi, he's back to goal 30 yards out, now turns and faces the goal. Sends the ball out left for Ortega. Ortega heavy first touch but keeps possession. Iborra keeps it ticking over for Olympiacos. Carmo, lovely ball down the left hand side. Ortega making a run, taking Quarta out there with him, tries to keep it in play, and eventually it goes out of play, and it came off Ortega last of all, and it will be a Fiorentina throw. 0-0.
Some nice football there from Olympiacos, but I think Fiorentina kept their shape and defended that really well. Really well. Really nice run from Ortega, that left back position, run in behind the Fiorentina back line, but everybody staying with their runner, staying with their man, doing their jobs, and just seeing the danger out. They did that very well there.
Dodo with the throw for Fiorentina, whose only European success came in the old Cup Winners' Cup in 1961. Both these sets of supporters have waited an awful long time for some tangible success away from their own country. 47 league titles for Olympiacos down the years, but nothing in terms of continental honours. Pushing forward at the end of this first half, and they did win the ball back, but has a heavy touch down the inside left channel as he'd stolen in front of his marker, and it ends up being another Fiorentina throw, 0-0.
He hasn't been able to influence the game yet, really, has that? Not really seen an awful lot of it. Plenty of time for that. Again, be a really interesting game, this one, Dan, with 20 minutes to go. As teams start to get a little tired, maybe some changes are made. Just in some of those moments you get that opportunity to strike, to create a good situation or a chance.
Well, we're into a minute of minimum stoppage time at the end of this first half. Quarta turns away from Chiquinho, fires the ball downfield for Fiorentina, but straight onto the instep of David Carmo, volleys it back into the Fiorentina half. Where's that going to drop? Looked like there was a push there by Heza. Indeed there was on Mandragora, and that'll be a free kick to Fiorentina. One last chance for them to get it forward before the half-time whistle goes at 0-0.
Yeah, good start from Olympiacos. I thought really bright opening 5-6 minutes. Created that nice chance for Daniel Podence, that shot. Then all of a sudden Fiorentina just got amongst it and started to make some headway themselves. I think the way the game sort of ebbed and flowed, it's been a really good watch. Nothing much in this one.
Long free kick downfield. Belotti rises with the goalkeeper, who tried to claim it right at the edge of his 18-yard box and almost went for it a second time, and then realised he was outside of his 18-yard box. The referee brings the first half to a close. Andy Townsend alongside me, Ian Danton. No changes from either manager at the break, so I'll run you through the lineups. Olympiacos have Salakis in goal, Rodney, Retsos, Carmo and Ortega in the back four, Chiquinho, Heza, Iborra in midfield, for Tunis, El Kaabi and Podence up front. For Fiorentina, Terracciano the keeper, Dodo, Milenkovic, Quarta and Biraghi in the back four, Artur, Mandragora and Bonaventura in midfield, Kouame and Gonzalez supporting Belotti in attack. And it's the red and white shirts of Olympiacos that get the second half underway, kicking from right to left as we look. Fiorentina in their change strip of all white with purple detail around the shirt, and they volley the ball downfield, the Italian side, to give an early throw at the start of this second half to Olympiacos. Ball's back with their young keeper, 21 years of age, Konstantinos Salakis. Right-footed ball up looking for Podence, who goes down holding his head after a challenge with Quarta, and he stayed down, Daniel Podence, and the referee takes a look at him and he's going to blow the whistle and say he needs a bit of treatment. Or is he just... No, he's told him to get up.
I'd certainly look. Quarta was on a yellow card. Quarta was always going to beat Podence in the air. He's about a foot taller than him. Yeah. So Podence always going to come off second best there. Laid on the floor, the referee ran past him and said, "Up you get, son. Get up." And he's done that, Podence. Fair play to him.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'd like to see plenty of that at the Euros this summer, please, from referees.
Yeah, come on,
telling players to get on with the game.
Yeah.
After all, the law states that it has to be a genuine head injury for the referee to have to stop the game as of right. Ball cleared away by Quarta downfield, and Fiorentina trying to work the ball down the right-hand side, asking Bonaventura to give chase. Belotti goes down off the ball. Was he clipped by Retsos? They were both running near to each other, and it was a bit like Mary Decaslani and Zola Budd as there's one for the teenagers. As Belotti got caught trying to run after the ball.
Was Belotti barefoot?
Well, somebody will take a penalty in their socks probably if we get to a shootout after extra time, if that's what it takes tonight to get us a winner. Offside against El Kaabi, desperate to get involved in this game more and more. The top scorer for Olympiacos, scored plenty for his country, Morocco, as well. 22 goals in 41 caps.
Brilliant.
So a goal every other game record for your country is not to be sniffed at either.
Oh, very good.
But 30 years of age, you wonder whether there's another big move in him.
And being a left-sided striker, you know, they're not always quite so prevalent, are they, up front? So naturally,
there's a head injury there. There's a real clash of heads between two players. Fiorentina player flat on his back. Just trying to see who the Olympiacos player is that's been caught. I think it's Belotti who's down for Fiorentina. Yeah, he went up for a header with Retsos, and Belotti's head went into the side of Retsos's head.
Yeah.
And they're both, well, you heard what Andy Townsend thought of that challenge watching the slow-mo replay, 0-0.
Yeah, they did punch heads really hard there, didn't they, those two? Remember Mark Dennis? Dan, of course you do.
Oh, God, he played at Birmingham City, was hard as nails.
You know, Mark used to deliberately go down on the far side. I remember one night playing Southampton at Old Trafford, deliberately went down so as the physio had to run all the way across the other side of the field. And when he got there, of course, Mark would get up. You know what I mean?
Just to spike the physio.
Yeah, just to get the physio off his backside and running across the field and then have to walk all the way around the outside of the pitch.
Well, he was... most definitely, he was a walking yellow card, that boy. Mark Dennis.
Do you know, he was a great player.
He was a terrific crosser of ball.
Yeah.
Birmingham had three, shall we say, loose cannons at left back in a row around that time. We had Mark Dennis, we had Julian Dix, and we had Pat Vandenhouwe who played in that position as well, as the 70s became the 80s.
Yes.
It was not the calmest position at left back at my club in those days, but thankfully it appears both players here are back on their feet. I'm sure all the concussion protocols are going to be followed very closely to make sure everything's all right. That's something that should really be done as a matter of course these days, and is now. Both managers looking on as well. Wonder who's going to blink first to make changes from the substitutes bench, Andy.
Well, we see Retsos, he's okay. He's just stepping off the field, getting ready to come back on. Belotti, of course, from Fiorentina. We're just waiting to see him. Hopefully he's back up on his feet, okay.
Yeah, they're both on the far side, but of course they're now going to have to wait 30 seconds before they're allowed back on.
There you go.
Or in fact, are they going to be allowed on straight? Well, Belotti's gone straight back on.
Yeah.
And I think, the referee's going to allow both on. Seeing as it's one of each side, I think he said, mind you, now Retsos is just, I think he's had a bit of a delayed reaction there, Retsos. And he's just now lying flat on his back, and the Olympiacos physios have signalled to the bench that they need to make a change here. Now that's important because they've gone through what they felt were the protocols, the physiotherapy staff there for Olympiacos. Over on the far side, Retsos looked all ready to come back on.
He did.
And then suddenly just sat down. Now he's lying flat on his back to his feet again. But I think he's not quite sure of his bearings, and Belotti's changing, and once again the physios are making the signal to the bench that a change has got to be made here. 0-0.
Yeah, that's interesting, and that's well done all of the medical teams, and making sure that he's absolutely right. The referee gave him every chance to carry on. Clearly Retsos is in some distress and he's going to be replaced.
Well, we're back underway. It's temporarily 11 against 10 as Jose Mendilibar looks to find a substitute to replace Retsos. Offside flag goes up on the far side of the field against Fortounis, and it'll be a throw into Fiorentina. 5 minutes gone in the second half in this Europa Conference League final. Olympiacos 0, Fiorentina 0. Retsos does actually want to come back on now.
Wow. One minute he looks like he's okay, next minute he's not. Now he's come running back on. We'll see how he fares.
We'll keep more than a weather eye on Retsos. Here come Fiorentina, first time really in this second half. Bonaventura, lovely ball to the far post, but Rodney just flicks it away from the advancing Kouani down the left-hand side, but Fiorentina have a throw down that left-hand side. And Retsos and Belotti appear to be okay.
Yeah, we're just seeing images here of Retsos shaking his head, and the Olympiacos support staff signalling for a change, and then seconds later Retsos is back on. You would have thought, Dance, wouldn't you, the way that all the protocols nowadays, you would have thought with him saying no, I don't feel I'm ready, or I'm not right, you would have thought they'd have made him change there.
Well, yeah, sometimes you have to take the responsibility out of the player's hands and say, look, this is for your own good. We'll see what occurs there in the end, but Retsos is back out there, and Fiorentina also have Belotti back out there, who was less hurt by that clash of heads. Here is Retsos, just in front of his own 18-yard line. Sends the ball up to El Kaabi on halfway, lays it off to Fortunis, gives it back to El Kaabi, and he drives it out to the left-hand side looking for the run of Ortega, but it's won back by Dodo. He's given it away, and now Prudence down the left-hand side of the area, pulls it back for Olympiacos, and it's turned behind by Mandragora for a corner kick, and Prudence whips up the Olympiacos fans behind that goal to the left-hand side. 0-0.
Well, that was a chance. Dodo, the right back for Fiorentina, gave the ball away in a poor area. Very quickly, Olympiacos exposed that space that he vacated. Prudence's cross, though, wasn't good enough.
So it'll be Chiquinho with a right-footed in-swinging corner deep to the far post, and a very comfortable claim for Terracciano in the Fiorentina goal. He clears from hands up to halfway, but it won't find Kouame. Good flick on in midfield by Iborra for Olympiacos. Another bit of head tennis. Iborra with an acrobatic scissor kick trying to get the ball out to the right wing of Fortunis. It does make its way to Fortunis in the end. Chiquinho can't get past Biraghi, but Olympiacos will start to ask a couple of questions here. Rodney down the right-hand side for the Greeks. Gets to the byline. The cross is very, very deep. It's overhit. Got a 3-wood out when he needed a 7-iron, and that's a throw in Fiorentina's right-back position. 0-0, and we've played, 9 minutes nearly of the second half on TalkSport 2.
Yeah, neither side yet really second period creating anything substantial, anything worthwhile. Both goalkeepers have dealt comfortably. Terracciano there coming out and claiming that corner nice and comfortably. Salakis yet to be worked second half, so again it's starting to get, and again very naturally and understandably, starting to get very, very tight. Nobody is allowing their man to run beyond them or run free. Everybody absolutely diligent about what they're doing. You don't want to be the one to make a mistake in these big matches. You don't want it to be your man that punishes you.
That's the voice of former Chelsea, Villa and Republic of Ireland midfielder Andy Townsend on TalkSport 2 alongside me, Ian Danta. It's the Europa Conference League final, live and free tonight. Olympiacos 0, Fiorentina 0, with nearly 10 minutes gone after the restart. Olympiacos send the ball long down the left-hand side. Prudence trying to let the ball run across his body and try and keep it in with the tightest of angles, but couldn't do so. Looked like a nudge from David Carmo on halfway on Artur, and it's given us a free kick, and Fiorentina get on with it quickly. Kouame running towards the edge of the area, feeds Belotti down the left-hand side of the box, trying to feed the cross back to Kouame. Bit too short, and Retsos and Belotti collide again, this time not head-to-head. And the ball stays in play, and Fiorentina win it back after a very scrappy couple of seconds on the far side of the field. 0-0.
Fortunis there, just trying to get in the way a little bit. Retsos actually was just about to stride away with the ball at his feet.
Dodo on this near side of Fiorentina right. Plays the ball infield to Mandragora. Look for Dodo again, but that's a poor pass. Easy for Ortega to intercept, and he just volleys it downfield, and El Kaabi trying to get the other side of Milenkovic. It was one-on-one for a moment, but Milenkovic stood tall, didn't go to ground, wins the ball back and thumps it up to halfway. 0-0.
Yeah, did well there, Milenkovic, because that ball was knocked up to El Kaabi, one-on-one with the big centre-half, but stood his ground well, Fiorentina man, and made sure that he knocked that one down the line to safety.
Next live football is the Women's Euro 2025 qualifier. England, France. Joe Shannon and former Liverpool striker Tash Dowie, your commentary team for that one. That's 8 o'clock on Friday night on TalkSport. And then the Champions League final on Saturday. Belotti for Fiorentina goes down the right hand side of the area but can't keep it in play. Kick-off at 8 p.m. between Borussia Dortmund and Real Madrid from Wembley. Jim Proudfoot, Stuart Pearce and Adrian Durham, the team at Wembley. Our coverage will start inside the stadium at 6. 0-0 here.
He works hard, Belotti. He doesn't quite have that real outstanding burst of speed that sometimes just gets him away from those defenders from almost a nothing situation. He's always willing and very generous with his work rate and running into those channels and trying to get there to receive the ball, but doesn't look like he's going to run. David Carmo gets us.
He came on loan in February from Roma, did Andrea Belotti, 30 years young now. Scored in the first leg of the semi-final in this competition against Club Brugge. And and another player with plenty of international experience. 44 caps for Italy. Change coming up for Fiorentina. They're blinking first, and Mbala and Zola, the Angolan, is going to be coming on shortly for them. Meanwhile, Chiquinho's onside down the right-hand side of the area, pulls the ball back, it almost dropped for Pedence, but Dodo, the right-back, stuck his foot in and brought it away, and then Gonzalez, in trying to control the ball, completely missed it with a couple of air shots, and Olympiacos have it back, 0-0.
Indeed. It is Fiorentina that aren't going to make that change first. As we see Pedence again hitting the floor under a pretty industrial challenge that from Dodo.
Not sure whether he's going to get a yellow card for that, for coming in from behind on Pedence, but it wasn't nice. Pedence back to his feet. And it will be a free kick to Olympiacos. We will now find out who Mbala and Zola is going to come on for. He's 27 years of age from Angola. And he has come onto the field in place of Belotti. So it's a straight swap up front. It's a different sort of statuesque figure, very tall man, Mbala and Zola. Scored 3 goals in the Conference League, having arrived from Spezia. But his first job is to help out the Fiorentina defenders, who've got a free kick to keep out here from on the left-hand side for Olympiacos. Worked into the centre of the Fiorentina half. Now they try and get it behind on the left-hand side for Ortega, but the ball's over here. And it's a goal kick to the Italians. We're approaching the hour mark.
Yeah.
Nice. On TalkSport 2, 0-0.
Nice idea from Hezza there. Saw the run of Ortega, clipped it in behind the fullback, but it was just a little bit too heavy and it ran out for a goal kick. So Vincenzo Italiano has decided that Belotti's run his race and he's brought in Zola on. Again with Kouame now up there, offers a different point of attack. Quick, as you said, a big man. We'll see whether or not he can get integrated into this game pretty quickly.
Might get a flick on here from Bonaventura, but Retsos, who seems to have shaken off that head knock that he picked up a few minutes ago, thankfully. Ball's in the centre circle, but a foul by Hezza allows a free kick for Fiorentina. Very nearly an hour gone. You're listening to Olympiacos 0, Fiorentina 0 in the Europa Conference League final. Live on TalkSport 2 with Village Hotels. Visit villagehotels.com. Free kick worked back by Fiorentina to the middle of their own half, and then a diagonal ball left to right, seeking Gonzalez, who fires a volley infield looking for Nzola, who's just come onto the field. Won't get it quite yet, but Dono with a good strong run from the right hand side works it infield. Now Nzola gets a vital foot in. Bonaventura, centre of the Olympiacos half, works it out left to the on-running captain Baraggi. Now Mandragora out on the left-hand side. Gets towards the corner flag. He's got support from Kouame. Nutmegs an Olympiacos player, then it's hit against him by an Olympiacos defender, and the Greek side have a goal kick. An hour gone, 0-0 on TalkSport 2.
Yep, and seeing all of the substitutes now warming up, they're all really now coming alive. And when you don't start a match, and you're sat on the bench and you're watching, hoping to get on board, of course, at this stage of a game now, everybody on red alert, making sure that they're ready to go if called upon.
I know you weren't sub very often, but when you were, what were you like as a sub? Were you annoying as hell to your manager? No.
Not very good, no. Stiff as well, terrible. Honestly, Dan, when I used to come on with about 20 minutes to go.
It depends on how crowded those dugouts get, doesn't
exactly.
it? Like at the Dell, I can imagine it must be the most cramped bench in the world down there at that old Southampton ground.
I mean, Paul McGrath was never a sub, but actually was a sub when Brian Little first came to Villa. And I remember Brian saying to him once, "Come on, Paul, can you get ready to go?" He said, "Oh, I'm ready." He said, "Try and touch your toes." He said, "Oh no, I'll never get there. I won't be able to do that." Come on and play brilliant as usual.
Yeah, in fact, he never trained, did he, during the week towards the end of his career, McGrath? What a player. Now here's Fortounis for Olympiacos. Down the right wing, early cross, chested down by Pedence. Couldn't get the shot away. Brilliant defending by Dodo, who was caught by Pedence as he tried to strike it goalwards. Seems to have hurt himself on his right shin there, Daniel Podence, as he swung his right foot at it.
He's got to be a little careful as well,
Yeah,
Podence.
he's on a yellow
card.
Yes, indeed he is.
It was a good cross in. He took it on his chest, right on the penalty spot. He's looking to really then... I tell you, it's a bad challenge, Dance, that, you know.
Although there is intent to go for the ball, I don't think
late. I tell you,
he is late.
Really late getting that. I think Mendilibar is just shaking hands with Vincenzo Italiano there, because no doubt there would have been... I mean, Podence is really overdoing it, by the way. He's laying on the floor, rubbing his shin.
Well, what you're suggesting?
Well,
Bowsery.
Because he knows full well on a yellow card. He was very late. He took the ball in his chest, had to bounce, then he's waiting to hit it. Dodo's got in there and cleared it, and then Podence, shaping to shoot, has clattered into him and sort of got away with it.
Well, that was good full-back play from Dodo, doing what all good full-backs do, and a cross comes in from the opposite side. You come in from the flank and you help out your centre-halves. And that's exactly what he did to good effect, and he's won a free kick for his team. 63 minutes gone on TalkSport 2 in the Europa Conference League final. We're just seeing a picture of Andrea Bellotti with an ice pack right on top of his head. That's probably where he connected with Retsos with that clash of heads a little earlier in the half.
Maybe he did, yeah.
Could be a big egg on that by the morning for Andrea Bellotti. But he's put a shift in, but we still await the deadlock to be broken. I've missed any of the action here. It's only now that Daniel Podence is being led behind the goal, and we'll have to wait 30 seconds before he's reintroduced. 63 minutes gone, and Fiorentina restart with a short goal kick from Terracciano. Artur out to Dodo on this near side, faced up by Chiquinho this time. Plays it backwards to square to Quarta. A raking pass out to the left-hand side. Lovely cushion header from Kouame. And quick feet as well. Lovely stuff from him. Plays it to the right-hand corner of the box. Brought down by Bonaventura. Dodo on the overlap. Driving for the byline. Dodo, can he pull it back? He's won a corner in the end off Ortega. And that could have been so much more for Fiorentina. 0-0.
Really could have been. Nice play. Went down the left side with Kouame. He switched it out to Bonaventura, who waited for Dodo on the overlap. Fed him beautifully. And the fullback just took a clumsy touch. I think he could have crossed it first time, got to the byline, and that cross was then snuffed out, and now it's a corner.
A right wing corner for Artur to take for Fiorentina. An outswinger from the Brazilian. A couple of runs being made into the near post. Ball's gone onto the penalty spot and headed wide by Milenkovic, who got his head to it first, but couldn't direct it goalwards. It went a good 2 or 3 yards wide in the end. Goal kick to Olympiacos, 0-0. It stays on TalkSport 2.
Really good out-swinging corner. Milenkovic met that somewhere between the penalty spot and the 6-yard line. It was David Carmo who did really well, actually, to just probably disturb him enough so as the header wasn't on target.
So another goal kick for Olympiacos. Salakis again can thump it downfield. No thought of any short passing and playing through the lines.
Not at all.
From this Greek side.
They haven't done that at all night long, honestly. They haven't played, when they've got a goal kick, they've not played short once. They just keep serving it forward.
It's old school. Bit of head tennis around the halfway line. Won by Gonzalez in the end, who finds Mandragora, who tried to thread the ball through for the run of Kouame, who hasn't scored yet in the Europa Conference League for Fiorentina this season. He almost had a chance to be one-on-one there, but ball didn't find him, and instead it's out of play for an Olympiacos throw on halfway, 0-0.
Yeah, it's been a bit scrappy, the football now. I've got to be honest. We haven't seen quite as much clever football as we saw in the opening 20-25 minutes.
Well, is this the cagey stuff you were talking about at half-time?
Again, I just think it's inevitable when you play in these big games. All of a sudden, the space starts to become limited and passes are going astray.
Like that one from Podence given straight to Dodo, but his ball trying to release Gonzalez down the right-hand side is cleared out of play by Carmo for a throw to Fiorentina on halfway.
Dance, this is where coaches, I always feel, really earn their call. This is what it's all about. You're 0-0, 66 minutes gone of a European final. We've already seen Fiorentina make one change. Jose Luis Mendilibar at the moment is reluctant to change anything. He's just sitting waiting maybe for that right moment, but it's these moments where these guys really earn their call, the changes they make and what effect they have on a game.
Well, Vincenzo Italiano has brought on Nzola, but he's not really had a kick yet.
Hasn't, has he? Hardly had a touch.
At the other end, El Kabi
Correct.
is also struggling to make his presence felt for Olympiacos.
Yeah, it's very true.
There is a flick on from Nzola. Tries to play a 1-2 with Gonzalez, but good covering defending by Retsos. Gives the ball back to his keeper. Has to open up his body and clear it right-footed with his instep, and it goes out of play for a Fiorentina throw. 67 gone, 0-0.
But even there, because that wasn't coming back to the goalkeeper in perfectly, but no thought of Salakis taking a touch there and maybe then shifting it onto his right foot to get a better strike up the field. He just battered it straight back where it come from, out for a throw-in, taking no chances, eliminating any risk at all.
Terracciano, the other goalkeeper for Fiorentina, sends it downfield. Good strong header from Carmo. Drops on halfway for Hezet. And now Daniel Pedence for Olympiacos. Skips in field and then gives the ball away. Bonaventura couldn't get away though. That was good work in midfield from Hezet. And Dodo will give the ball back to his keeper, but had to come out to the right-hand side of his area to get there. He knew he had Olympiacos players hunting him down. Ball drops for Bonaventura inside his own half. Turns away from Ortega very neatly and finds Artur. He chips the ball up over halfway. Might be a chance for Nzola to outrun his defender. Nzola plays the ball in field. Dodo's got into the box. To his left is Kouame! And the shot is palm wide for a corner. A good chance for Christian Kouame, but he didn't get hold of the shot.
No.
Same as Bonaventura in the first half. And Salakis clawed the ball behind for a Fiorentina corner, 0-0.
Yeah, really good situation for Fiorentina. That Nzola, first chance he had to turn and run with the ball. Dodo's made a brilliant run from the right back position. Kouame's the man over on the far side. They roll it to him and he hits his shot really poorly into the ground, but it nearly loops over the top of the goalie.
Baracci with the Fiorentina corner, deep to the edge of the area, knocked down, comes out to Bonaventura, but the whistle's already gone for a foul, and Olympiacos have a free kick inside their own penalty area. Time ticks away, just over 20 minutes of normal time to play. The option is there for extra time and penalty kicks, remember, in these European finals.
Maybe that's why Mendilibar has been a little reluctant up to now to make that change, Dan, because he's starting to get the sense that this is going to go the distance, so waiting perhaps just a little longer at the right moment to introduce another player.
Fortounis, the captain for Olympiacos, with a forlorn chase down the right-hand side. The ball's gone behind for a Fiorentina goal kick. Lost their last 4 European finals, remember, Fiorentina, including a year ago against David Moyes' West Ham. But they've averaged nearly 2 goals per game this season for Fiorentina. And they've also hit the woodwork 7 times in this competition. As I mentioned, they've left it late on a number of occasions. Extra time against Vittoria Plzeň in the quarterfinals and a 85th minute penalty in the semi-final second leg against Brugge. So they do have their moments where they put their manager through the ringer.
Yeah.
And Zola with a flick on to nobody in particular for Fiorentina. And it's through for Salakis, and David Carmo's now limping in the back line for the Greek side.
He's a big man in Zola. A couple of times they've gone long to him. He's won the headers, so for the first time Retsos and Co at the back there, they all have to make sure they're on their game because they've got someone challenging for everything. He looks like he's really quick if he runs in behind as well. Fiorentina centre forward.
Bonaventura caught offside, so Olympiacos have a free kick 10 yards inside their own half. Vincenzo Italiano, all classic Italian hand gestures and gesticulations as he tries to marshal his troops out there. Meantime, poor touch from Chiquinho coming forward. Thought he'd won a corner, but Plata making sure that it was a goal kick that was won instead for the Italian side, wearing their change strip tonight of all white with purple designs around the shoulders. Here comes a change for Olympiacos, and finally Jose Luis Mendilibar comes to the bench and he's taking his captain off. And Fortounis is giving the armband to Retsos, so the responsibility goes back to the centre half, and for Konstantinos Fortounis has put a shift in, but he's coming off.
looks like Stefan Jovetic coming on.
And this will be a story if he gets involved, Jovetic, because at the age of 34 the Montenegrin is going to come on against a club where he spent 5 years between 2008 and 2013, scored 40 goals for Fiorentina. You might remember him in the Manchester City ranks long after. Mostly used as a substitute here, as he has been tonight. So Stefan Jovetic on, but here come Fiorentina down the left-hand side. Mandragora trying to keep the ball in play, but the ball's just over the dead ball line. And so Kostas Fortounis off, Stefan Jovetic on for Olympiacos. And that is an attacking move. I wonder whether that means that El Kaabi might move out to the right-hand side and Jovetic goes to the middle, Andy Townsend.
Yeah, we'll have a look and see exactly which way that they're setting up in that respect.
Certainly looks that way, that he's drifted out to the right-hand side, El Kaabi, from that throw-in routine. Ball's lobbed upfield, El Kaabi goes up for a header, and he'll get it again at the edge of the centre circle, trying to flick it right for Jovetic. Gonzalez is set upon by Ortega, and it was too hefty a challenge from Francisco Ortega, and it's a free kick on halfway to Fiorentina. 17 minutes to go.
Looks like Jovetic has come out onto the left-hand side. Pedence has gone over onto the right. Okabi's still up the middle, but we'll see if that's the way they were moments ago. Jovetic is still down here, down the left-hand side. Another change now for Fiorentina.
Yep. And Artur is coming off, and Duncan's coming on to replace him, midfielder. So it is a like-for-like switch to see Duncan onto the field. Another really physical specimen wearing number 32 for Fiorentina. So a free kick for Fiorentina, floated out to the left-hand side, looking for the header of Kouame. And Zola won't get hold of it inside the area. Cleared away by Olympiacos. It will drop on this left-hand side for Jovetic. First real involvement in the game for Olympiacos after coming on. Neat ball up into the centre circle, but Pedence couldn't control it on his chest as it went across his body. And Dodo will send it downfield instead, looking for Nzola. Nobody's really keeping hold of the ball for a particularly long spell here on either side. Pedence now for Olympiacos. Just over a quarter of an hour to go with normal time. Giving away again. Gonzalez giving chase for Fiorentina, but Carmo puts his foot through it. And it's another throw-in.
Yeah, instead of perhaps taking a touch and playing with a little composure, everybody now is very aware of the high-stakes nature of this game, of this period in the match that we've got to now, with quarter of an hour plus whatever the referee wants to add on. It means it's no time to make a mistake, no time to... There's being brave and there's being courageous in possession, and then there's risking everything that you're playing for, and nobody seems prepared to, at the moment, to put their foot on the ball and just take that extra touch. Nobody wants to get caught in possession.
It's going to be another change for Olympiacos in a minute. Andre Horta on loan from Benfica. Scored a couple against Ike recently, a team that has this stadium to themselves usually, but it's been taken over by Olympiacos fans. Horta will be on shortly, but Fiorentina trying to get the ball downfield, and it's well defended by Rodney. Clear up to halfway, and Baragi will let the ball go out of play for a throw. El Kaabi looking to close down Milenkovic, who lays it back to his goalkeeper. And Terracciano plays a short pass out to Quarta. He looks long down the centre of the field for Gonzalez. Goes up for a header with Quarta. Might drop for Nzola. Back to goal at the edge of the area. Trying to wriggle his way into some space. Went down. Offside flag's gone up. And so there's no thought of a foul. Instead, it's merely a free kick to Olympiacos. And Nzola's got something to say to Retsos after that challenge. And he looks a little indignant. And he's still chuntering away as both players go back to the halfway line. 76 gone, 0-0.
Yeah, just a chance there because he's a big man, Nzola, and he received that ball back to goal right on the edge of the 18-yard line. whether he was going to roll Retsos and try and get the shot away. Couldn't do it, unfortunately, but here's that Olympiacos change. It looks like Chiquinho is the one that's coming off.
Straight swap, really, midfielder for midfielder. Porter then coming on, 27 years of age, to replace Chiquinho in the Olympiacos midfield. He's got 13 minutes to try and affect the game. Balls with Dodo at the right back. He tried to dummy a clearance to put Jovetic off, and Jovetic wasn't buying it, but eventually he did get a throw for his team, Dodo.
I don't think we've had many shots this half, Dan, have we?
No.
I don't think we've had many at all. A couple of scruffy efforts maybe, ball bobbling around a lot everywhere over the pitch, and it's just being helped on. As I mentioned, nobody's really wanting to take that extra touch and make something significant or worthwhile in possession of the ball. Everyone's just helping it on, knocking it in behind, asking people to make something out of pretty much nothing.
Drifting all the time towards extra time on TalkSport 2. 0-0 it remains in the Europa Conference League final between Olympiacos of Greece and Fiorentina of Italy, who have possession now with Bonaventura. Oh, good defending down the left-hand side from Santiago Heza, and he wriggles away from Dodo. Ball's picked up by Jovetic deep inside his own half. Plays the ball across to the right-hand side for Rodney, who's got Kouame for company. Tries to go on the outside of Kouame, and that's a foul awarded for a little trip by Kouame on Rodney. Protests his innocence, the Fiorentina winger, but it's a free kick to Olympiacos. 0-0.
Yeah, first time really we've seen Rodney trying to sprint forward. Kouame is that catches him. That's another thing you see a lot of nowadays, Dan. Players quite deliberately fouling people, putting them down rather than letting them get away and maybe trying to time that challenge. They always make the decision nowadays to take the foul. You know, and if you can get away with it, great. If you get a yellow card, then obviously you've got to be very careful. But again, at this stage of a match, you don't want to let anybody get the other side of you, run forward with the ball and put it in your box.
Porter's going to have this free kick for Olympiacos. First real thing he's had to do in the game since coming on. From the right wing, swings it into the box, flicks up by Ibarra, and just wide. Massive chance for Olympiacos from the free kick. And Vicente Ibarra rose highest of all, 15 yards from goal, flicked the header goalwards, and it was only just the wrong side of the post from Olympiacos' point of view. Goal kick, 0-0.
It's a great ball in, and it's a lovely header from Ibarra. Terraziano would have got nowhere near that. If that's inside the post, the goalkeeper's struggling big time, because it's a quick delivery, a fast delivery, whips in. Ibarra gets across his man, glancing header just wide of the post.
Ibarra again looks for El Kaabi, holds it up well, at least initially, but back comes Biragi with a good strong challenge to pass the ball back to Terraziano. 10 minutes to go on TalkSport 2. Extra time beckons in Athens. It remains goalless. Fiorentina in possession, just inside the Olympiacos half. Good touch from Bonaventura, taken up by Mandragora. Out to Kouame on the left wing, level with the edge of the area, lays it back in field to Duncan. Alfred Duncan plays it back in field. It's now with Quarta. Great run down the right hand side of the box by Kouame. Dodo tries to win a corner off Jovetic. Jovetic can't prevent a corner kick for Fiorentina in front of their fans away to that right hand side. 0-0.
Well, we just saw an outswinger that Milenkovic did really well to get his head on. We'll see if it's something similar again.
Biragi with an in-swinger again, I think, Andy.
Yeah, right, okay.
He's going across to take it from that corner quadrant in front of those 9,000 Fiorentina fans who are trying to make themselves heard. Not that they're vastly outnumbered by Olympiacos supporters. Short corner. Bonaventura clips it to the far post, headed up in the air, but before the ball drops in the 6-yard box, you heard the blast of the referee's whistle. A push by an Olympiacos player gives Fiorentina a chance to clear their lines with a free kick. 0-0.
Yeah, Retsos it was there that was actually just impeded. Yeah, Milenkovic got his arms all over the defender there.
That's Andy Townsend alongside me, Ian Dancer. It's going to be a couple of changes. And Jonathan Ikone and also Antonin Barak, the Chechen midfielder, are coming on, and Bonaventura and Kouame are coming on. I've been impressed with Christian Kouame tonight for Fiorentina. Don't know about you, Andy Townsend.
Yeah, no. I think he'd worked really hard and always looked a bit of a threat, didn't he? But he's run his race now. Time for a change. Ikone is going to come on and replace him.
So Ikone at number 11, and Antonin Barak, who wears number 72 for Fiorentina, playing on the right-hand side of the front three. So Gonzalez has now switched over to the left-hand side for Fiorentina. Ball headed away by Milenkovic for the Italians, but Podence been really in the thick of the action more often than not tonight, Daniel Podence. And he's won a throw for his team. Andy Townsend will, not just alongside me tonight, but alongside Charlie Baker tomorrow for the Hawksby and Jacob show, 1 till 4 on TalkSport. Just got to keep Charlie in check sometimes.
Have I? Right,
yeah.
Okay.
He's like that faithful red setter in your family, but you've got to occasionally bang it on the end of the nose with a rolled up newspaper. Just to stop him from getting a bit too lively. Now a foul on Jovetic down this left-hand side as Olympiacos came forward. Dodo was the man that took him down. And he's not on a yellow card yet, Dodo. But he
should be for that.
He should be for that challenge on Jovetic.
Yeah, he's not hurt, Jovetic, but he's gone to ground. He's got nowhere near the ball. And again, that's one of those challenges, Dance, again, that late in the game, players nowadays will commit to challenges to just make that foul, stop the game, give your team a chance to recover, get back and get set.
Jovetic is the first player I've seen in years to be wearing one of those nose strips that Robbie Fowler used to favour. Here's the free kick from Horta. Good delivery into the box. El Kabi goes in and can't get the connection. Right in front of goal from a lovely delivery from Horta.
Wasn't
it just beyond for a Fiorentina goal kick, 0-0.
Yeah, so it's a free kick for Olympiacos down their left side. They've got a right footer on it who's curling it towards that far post. El Kabi makes a really nice run. If he gets anything on that, it might have sneaked in at the far post, but he just couldn't quite reach it.
6 minutes of normal time to go on TalkSport 2. It remains Olympiacos 0, Fiorentina 0 in the Europa League conference final. Barak finds Dodo for the Italians. Barak's gone for the return ball down the right-hand side of the area. Now Ikone gets involved. Duncan up to the edge of the area, and Zola tries to hold it up, but it's just whacked clear by Retsos. No nonsense clearance. Again, Avit, says Retsos, and it's out of play for a throw-in on halfway, 0-0.
Yep. Again, just making sure he clears his lines. The ball from Duncan into Enzola was a straight ball, difficult for the striker who's being so closely marked there to do anything with that.
Alfred Duncan again, the Ghanaian, gets it out to the left-hand side. Gonzalez stepping in field towards the edge of the area. Baragi on the overlap, tries to pull it back for Mandragora, but it was Retsos there again to intercept. Now Podence inside his own half, plays the ball over halfway. Horta making a great run, and across comes Milenkovic with a no-nonsense sliding challenge, putting out for a throw-in.
Yeah.
0-0.
They don't quite have the pace. Podence is quick, but they don't quite have the pace elsewhere, this Olympiacos team. Only with El Kabi, really, if they can try and release him, but just there, Andre Horta it was, who was trying to run on over the halfway line onto the end of that Podence pass, couldn't quite get there, but still an Olympiacos throw, 15-20 yards into Fiorentina territory.
Rodney with a throw into Jovetic, gives it back to the Brazilian fullback. Lovely little 1-2, he's away, Rodney, down the right-hand side. And the crosses again over hit. That's not the first time he's done that tonight. When in a really good position, Fiorentina goal kick, 0-0.
Yeah, I was going to say Rodney was trotting very nice down that far side, but it was a poor cross in the end, Dance, actually. He's got into a really good situation, loads of time. Just, you don't always have to pick people out in it. I always think it's a bit of a myth, pick somebody out, put it into a good area and ask people to get me in. That's what has to happen there. And unfortunately, the fullback just overhits it completely.
See what happens when Rodney pulls the trigger next time. 4 minutes of normal time to go. I apologise for that. That was dreadful. Olympiacos 0, Fiorentina 0. Don't forget you can react to all of the day's sporting stories tonight from 10 o'clock over on TalkSport with the Sports Bar. Jason Cundy and Perry Groves are going to be taking your calls. There's a Fiorentina player down. I think it's Gonzalez on the far side of the field. So play stops for a moment with 3 minutes of normal time remaining. Let's get your thoughts, Andy. It's a former Chelsea player on the notion of Enzo Maresca being linked as potential next manager of Chelsea.
Enzo was a young player when I was at West Brom. When I was finishing, he was just starting. Very talented young man he was. Always a bit of a maverick, even as a player, and has gone on and worked with the best. And Chelsea now feel like he's the man to take them forward. It suits Chelsea in the way that the business model that they've got and the way they want to run their club, having that younger coach that isn't going to argue too much and will just get on with things. But it's a great opportunity for him, it really is.
Back underway with just over 2 minutes to go of normal time in this Europa League Conference Final. 0-0 the score. Little flick on from El Kaabi on halfway for Olympiacos, but they won't get anywhere near that. Santiago Heza, the ball's rolled back to Terracciano. His first time clearance cushioned down by Duncan, flicked on by Barak, asking Ikone to give chase down the right hand side, and Fiorentina have on a throw 10 yards from the corner flag on the right hand side. 0-0.
Yeah, just at that stage now, just put it in the box. Wherever you are, put it in the box and just get people in and around it. Someone might anticipate where the ball's going to drop. It's Dotto with the ball in his hands in a position where it looks like he's shaping up for a long throw.
10 yards from the corner flag, right hand side, long throw coming in for Fiorentina from their fullback Dotto. Launches it into the near post, chested down by Barak, but the chest control got it away from him and it was volleyed clear. Duncan wins it back for Fiorentina, goes for goal ambitiously from fully 35 yards out, and it was well wide, and it ends up being a goal kick. And there's tension all around the stadium, just sensing that one moment of magic or one mistake will win this final for somebody.
That can make the difference now. Up to now, the shape of both teams has been the order of the day. That's been pretty good. Whenever there's just been a little window of opportunity, somebody's got back to deny an attacking player. It's been the way it's been. Second half in particular. First half we had some nice chances and some good football. Second half it's been a battle, it's been a scrap, and neither team wanting to concede any ground at all.
We're about to find out how many extra minutes we'll have after the 90, because there's 30 seconds of normal time to go. 0-0 on TalkSport 2 in the Europa Conference League final. Still no closer to knowing who lifts the trophy with 32 spines in it to represent the 32 clubs that start life in the trophy. We don't know who's going to be thrusting that into the Athens sky just yet. And we're going into 7 minutes of minimum added time right now. There's been a couple of stoppages and plenty of subs, so that kind of makes sense. Andy Townsend?
Yeah. Just thinking, is there anything sweeter in a big game than scoring like in this sort of moment now, Dan? You know, when you've just been shown 7 minutes still to go, what a time. If somebody can produce something a bit special.
Barak, good touch up to halfway for Fiorentina, but Nzola could get no change out of David Carmo, and a little high five between Carmo and Retsos as they tidy things up at the back for Olympiacos once again. Long ball downfield looking for El Kaabi, who tried to knock it down intelligently for Jovetic, but there were enough Fiorentina players back. And now Horta for the Greeks. Works it back to the halfway line, and Carmo. Jovetic inside left channel, faced up by Duncan. Plays a short pass back to Horta. Then it's chipped in field by Carmo, looking for El Kaabi. An awkward knee on the ball from Biragi, but not classed as a back pass by the referee or assistant, as the goalkeeper grabs hold of it gratefully. Minute gone of added time, 0-0.
I think El Kaabi was in an offside position there as well. And that ball that was thumped forward, but both teams resorting to going very long now, and just it's all hopeful stuff.
So a minute and a half of the minimum 7 that have been added on have gone in Athens. Olympiacos 0, Fiorentina 0. Is there a winner before extra time? Remember, Fiorentina thought they'd got extra time against West Ham 12 months ago, only for Jared Bowen to win it Here come Fiorentina with Quarta with a ball to the far post, nodded down by Gonzalez. Mandragora, left-hand corner of the penalty area, faced up by Rodney. Gonzalez again, whips the ball in, claimed well inside his 6-yard box by Solakis, who does a Jordan Pickford and falls to the ground, having run forward 6 paces.
Good take with his hands, wasn't it, from the goalkeeper? A little disappointed with the cross coming in, that no white shirt, no Fiorentina player attacking the ball. Everybody had sort of checked out for a ball that was going to be whipped out, and it was closer under the crossbar, but Solakis took it really nicely.
And Solakis will have this free kick for Olympiacos inside the D. Right-footed, smacks it just to the left of centre, but a comfortable header clear for Milenkovic for Fiorentina. Ball drops on halfway, and Zola loses out. Iborra, who had the best chance of the second half for Olympiacos. Ball's worked out to Horta on the right-hand side, but Milenkovic puts himself between man and ball and lets it drift out of play for a Fiorentina throw. 3 minutes of added time have gone. 4 more to play before extra time is going to be called for. 0-0.
Just haven't really seen either team able to break down the opposition and create anything worthwhile at all now. This entire second period, really. The Iborra one was a cross, and it just gets across his man, but from open play we haven't really seen any significant chances created.
Duncan sends the ball downfield for the Italians, but it won't find its way through to Icone. Instead it's got away from him and back with Solakis, the Olympiacos goalkeeper, who once again bids his defenders to get as far away from him as possible, and he will smack this right-footed downfield. Looks out to the left-hand side, that's where he drifts the ball, looking for El Kaabi. Good flick on, chested into his own path by Stefan Jovetic. Early ball into the box, it's cleared away by Quarta, and Olympiacos can't keep the ball in play, and it's a throw-in on this near side to the Italian side. 0-0. Over half of the minimum stoppage time has been played. Throw-in for Dodo inside his own half, looking for the flick on from Nzola, and actually headed out of play by Heza. They're making a bit of territorial gain, Fiorentina. Another throw for Dodo, asking Nzola to give chase down the right-hand side. He's trying to get the better of his man. He has won it. Brilliant strength from Nzola. Gets into the area, but there's Retsos, who's now got the captain's armband for Olympiacos, stepping in and clearing it.
Just for a moment I thought Nzola was going to skip right along the byline. Did really well to pinch the ball initially, but Retsos, as you say, Dance, stepping across and had to time the challenge perfectly because it was in the box, but he got there.
Extra time becoming a more and more realistic prospect with every passing moment in the Ike Stadium in Athens. Free kick for Olympiacos. Couple of minutes of minimum stoppage time to go. Stays goalless. Fourth official making sure there isn't more than one member of the Fiorentina coaching staff in the technical area. So Italiano, the manager, makes sure he's the only one front and centre. Sends his assistant back to the substitutes bench. Horta with a free kick for Olympiacos. Should be the keeper's ball this, and comfortably is Terracciano's at the edge of his 18-yard box. 0-0.
Yeah, mistake there from Horta. Just got to make sure he knocks it long. He's knocking it 60 yards for the big men, but he's knocked it into the box so the goalkeeper can come and grab it.
Long ball downfield for Fiorentina, comfortably headed back into their territory by Rodney. Here's Dodo, the other full-back out there on the right-hand side. Icone can't get the better of Ortega, but it might drop for Duncan. Oh, there was a foul on Ortega anyway from Icone, so it's a free kick, and we're into the last minute of the minimum 7 that have been added on here on TalkSport 2, and they're going to take their time over this free kick. Solakis is not exactly running over to this near left-hand side to place the ball down.
Not in any hurry, is he, at all? Literally in the last minute of added time.
Now he hits it right down the centre of the field, looking for Podence to flick it on.
Is he going to win anything in the air, Podence? It's about 5'2".
Now long ball asking Nzola to give chase for Fiorentina. Retsos somewhat nervously puts it out of play for a throw, and Fiorentina want to get on with it, and Rodney was trying to prevent them getting the throw in. But here is Biragi down the left-hand side. Plays the ball along the 18-yard line, headed out by Ortega. Fiorentina trying to recycle it again back into the box. But the red and white shirts of Olympiacos have got it half clear. He'll break for Horta, and he hits it downfield. The referee blows the whistle, points to the centre spot, and we need at least an extra half hour in Athens to decide who wins the UEFA Conference Final. And so we're ready for extra time here on TalkSport 2. Solakis in goal for Olympiacos. Rodney, Retsos, Carmo, Ortega, Horta, Heze, Ibora, Jovetic, El Kabi and Prudence. For Fiorentina, Terracciano, Dodo, Biragi, Milenkovic, Quarta, Duncan, Barak, Mandragora, Gonzalez, Ikone and Nzola. So we are ready for extra time here on TalkSport 2, and we are underway. Fiorentina in their change strip of all white, get the ball downfield, and Barak looks to flick the ball on, and Nzola out to Gonzalez on the left wing, level with the edge of the area, trying to get past Rodney to make room for a cross. Support down the left hand side from Duncan. Good ball to the far post, just too high for Ikone, who was coming in on the far stick, and they let the ball run out of play for a throw in to Olympiacos down the left hand side. But Quini has also come on for Olympiacos. I missed that during the changeover. The full-back from Spain, who joined in July from Granada, he's come on for Ortega, so it's a change at left back to see Quini on. And he's got some defending to do with Ikone at his back, and he's giving it away. Barak, who's got his socks rolled down, it's almost like he's going to play tennis the way that his socks are. Barak, no room for shin pads in there. Biragi out to Gonzalez, left hand side, comes in field, pokes it along the 18-yard line. Barak with his back to goal has to lay it back to Dodo. Fiorentina asking questions at the start of extra time. Ikone, right hand corner of the box, trying to wriggle into space and get a shot away. He did get the shot away, but it was blocked at source. And then El Kabi trying to take the ball away from a challenge, just toe pokes it out for a throw. 0-0.
He does indeed, Barak there. He's a big man, Barak, isn't he? With his socks rolled down. Looks like Hans-Peter Briegel. Do you remember him?
Oh my word!
Do you remember him?
Now you're firing some names at me. Yes, I do remember Hans-Peter Briegel.
Always with his socks down. Big lad as well, wasn't he? A great shot on him. And Barak there a couple of times was shaping up to hit something. Just couldn't quite get the ball out of his feet.
Now here's El Kabi playing a good 1-2 with Prudence and moving into the Fiorentina half. El Kabi getting tired though. You can see there's a few tired legs out there, as you might expect, as we're into extra time on a warm night in Athens. And Milenkovic then loses possession needlessly for Fiorentina, and Olympiacos have a throw. 0-0.
I would have thought El Kabi would be one that Mendilibar would want to keep on the field for a penalty, so he's going to have to keep battling on, I would think.
Throw in taken, and it's Heze who's set upon by Gonzalez, who wins the ball back well. And Zola now barrelling over the halfway line for Fiorentina. Good ball in field for Barak, but that was an important interception by David Carmo.
Yeah, good interception. Just the ball from Zola to Barak was perhaps just a little too tight to the central defender, who did well to step out and make a decent block.
Jovetic finds Heze for Olympiacos. Good run down the left hand side from Quini, trying to pull the ball back. Claims for handball.
Referee's not having any of it, Dance, immediately shrugging that away, both arms.
It was Mandragora who was the player that was being looked at, but nothing doing, says the Portuguese ref, and we play on at 0-0. Rodney rolling his foot on the ball on halfway. Lovely little flick in field from Prudence, but actually caught El Kabi off guard a little bit.
Look, the Olympiacos players are furious at the referee. They want him to go and have a look.
Jovetic has been booked. They want the VAR in Neon to take a look, which I'm sure they are. And Prudence has got to be careful because he's on the yellow card.
I think the referee is going over. I'm not sure whether he's going to the monitor, but Jovetic has got a card. for asking the referee why he didn't act upon it. They felt it was a handball. That cross from Quinney out on that left-hand side.
No, he's not going to look at the referee review area. Instead, he's come across to have a word with Jose Luis Mendilibar and also a member of the Olympiacos coaching staff. In fact, the sub-goalkeeper, Alexandris Pashkalakis, the former PAOK goalkeeper, has been booked for, I don't know whether, sometimes if you make that TV signal like you're playing Give Us a Clue,
right, okay,
that they deem that as being dissent and they can book you for it.
He's done well, the referee's obviously being told by the fourth official which one on the bench is causing a problem.
And I've just spotted Christian Karenberg down there on the bench. Now, he wouldn't say anything remotely. He's too nice a man to
let's have a look
get himself in any trouble.
Ooh, I'll tell you what,
you're just seeing the potential handball from Quata for the first time from the cross. His hands are down by his side, Andy.
They are. It travels 10 yards to hit Quata. It hits his hand. He's in the box.
Crossing for Olympiacos, looking for El Kabi. Only half cleared by Fiorentina. Heza seizes onto the loose ball. Midfield partner Horta finds Jovetic, wriggling into space. Jovetic, great save! Puts him behind for a corner kick. Jovetic got inside the D. Room for the right-footed shot. Tried to find the bottom corner. But Terracciano once again equal to the effort. And it's a corner kick to Olympiacos, 0-0.
Really good run that from Stepan Jovetic, right along the 18-yard line, as you say, and fired that shot between two white shirts. Goalie did really well to deal with it.
Short corner work back to Rodney. Good ball to the far post, and they all let it go. It's actually quite good defending by Fiorentina in the end. Somebody gave a shout, maybe the goalkeeper Terracciano, so that all players left it well alone, knowing that there was no red and white shirt behind. So with 6 minutes of extra time gone, the former Fiorentina player Jovetic goes closest of all to giving Olympiacos the lead.
Wouldn't that have been some story if he tucks that one in? Wow, that really would have been. Never easy to come on in a game, particularly as an older player, and have a real impact. Jovetic from a wide position, that's where he's kind of playing, but he very nearly did there. Lovely strike.
That's his role though these days in club football, Stefan Jovetic. He's very nearly the man that's made the difference.
Yeah, he was like a number 8, wasn't he, when he was at City?
Yeah.
That sort of position, but he's playing wider for this Olympiacos team.
Great challenge from Nicolas Gonzalez to prevent Rodney getting away down the Olympiacos right. 6.5 minutes gone in this first period of extra time in the Europa Conference League final, live on TalkSport 2 with Village Hotels. Visit villagehotels.com.
You know, I'm thinking about both goalkeepers. I know we've still got another period yet to get through the second half of extra time, but starting to think which goalkeeper tonight has made those better saves, has reacted to things better, seen things a little better. And Terracciano's made some good saves, hasn't he? He has. Zalakis has had to be alert, but I think that the Fiorentina goalkeeper has made some good stops.
He made the stop from Prudence early on, and that stop just then very similar in many ways, getting his left glove down to it on the deck to stop Jovetic giving Olympiacos the lead. But as I mentioned earlier, Zalakis at the other end saved 3 penalties in the shootout against the Turkish side Fenerbahce in the knockout stages. So he's already been a penalty shootout hero. Here come Fiorentina, edge of the area. Gonzalez can't get past Rodney. Has to scamper back to the middle of the half. Duncan feeds it out to the left wing. Biraghi with one touch. Overhead kick from Gonzalez. A little acrobatic and stayed flat on his back. He's given all he can so far tonight, and there's still over a quarter of an hour of extra time to be played. 0-0 the score. Heza brings the ball down on his chest for Olympiacos. Feeds Rodney down this near side the right. Everything to his left, including Prudence, who tries to play a 1-2, and Rodney was blocked off by Biraghi, spotted by the assistant, who makes the sign to the referee that an elbow was used. Biraghi protests his innocence. Rodney's down in agony, and it was a forearm used in the
He does put his arm up in his face, he does. He really does, Biraghi there. I mean, one thing stepping across a guy to block him, to obstruct him, he certainly didn't need to put his arm up in his face. I think he's got a yellow card for that, and that could have been worse.
He's just helped Rodney to his feet, and if that's an apology, it could be an apology, I guess. There is going to be a change for Fiorentina, and Lucas Beltran, who could probably feel a little aggrieved at not being in the starting lineup tonight, scored 4 in this competition this season. He's going to be on shortly for the Italians. In the meantime, Porter has a free kick for Olympiacos, tight to the near touchline. Whips it into the far post. El Kaabi with a free header, and it lands on the roof of the net. A looping header in the end. Had to twist his neck muscles to try and get anything on that.
Yeah.
And it's a goal kick to Fiorentina, 0-0.
It was always struggling. He was always struggling to rise above that cross. El Kaabi was kind of backpedaling a little bit. Just needed someone behind him to give him a real loud shout and let it go, and someone else might have been better placed.
99 minutes played in the Europa Conference League final, live on TalkSport 2. It remains locked at 0-0 between Olympiacos and Fiorentina. Goal kick downfield is put out of play for a throw to the Italians on this near side. Gonzalez is showing down this near side, and going to be left by Mandragora for his captain Baraggi to take. Live football continues on TalkSport Friday night with the Women's Euros 2025 qualifier between England and France. Joe Shannon and Tash Dowie, your commentary team for that. And then the Champions League final, our coverage starts inside the stadium at 6 p.m. on Saturday at Wembley. Borussia Dortmund against Real Madrid. Jude Bellingham against Jadon Sancho, one of the aspects, among many aspects, of a huge final at Wembley Stadium. And full commentary from Jim Proudfoot and Stuart Pearce on that one. But still goalless here, Andy Townsend.
Yeah, again, as we tick towards half-time in extra time. Again, a few changes now, so both coaches trying to freshen it up and making sure that they bring on people that have got the confidence, maybe if required, to step up and take a pen, and not trying to withdraw those players out there that they know are pretty reliable from the spot. So you've got that dilemma now, both coaches. They want to go for it, they want to win it, love to win it before we get to penalties, but you've got them looming and they're always in the back of your mind.
Well, there's enough substitutes out there who are fresh of leg, who should have it in them to want to try and win it in normal time, of extra time, and not have to rely on the lottery of penalties. Duncan out to the right wing, and Zola, good ball into the area, almost found its way through to Ikone, but instead it's Heza who brings it away for Olympiacos, feeds it into the path of El Kaabi, down the right hand side, taking Milenkovic with him, holds play up for a moment and feeds it back in field to Heza. Now Rodney takes over. Good ball in field, Pedence scheming his way to the edge of the area, swings across him, looking for El Kaabi. Brilliant defending by Quarta.
Wasn't it brilliant defending? Because that was a clever ball from Daniel Pedence in a nice position there.
Real tenacious challenges flying in, but Fiorentina come away with the ball, and a long ball downfield from the Fiorentina midfield will make its way through to Ikone. Out on the right hand side, comes in field. Dodo's staying out on the right wing, but it's gone across to the inside left channel. Gonzalez takes aim, and he hits it straight at Retsos, and away comes Pedence on the counter-attack for Olympiacos. 2 minutes of the first half of extra time to go, but Pedence's attempted ball in field for El Kaabi is blocked, and then Baraggi just puts his foot through it to send it downfield, flicked on by Ikone, but the Olympiacos players just get on with it. Lovely clearance from the goalkeeper, and away goes Horta down the left hand side. Good skill to get inside his man, into El Kaabi, back to goal inside the area, tries to roll his man down towards the dead ball line, still has it El Kaabi, and then wins the corner off Milenkovic, 0-0.
Yeah, great defending from Milenkovic there, because this time the ball into El Kaabi is a good one. It's on his left foot, he takes a good first touch, and he's just looking for half a yard to get the shot away, but Milenkovic very close to him, nice and patient, just ushers him away from the goal, and the ball ends up going out for another corner for Olympiacos off their left side.
Andre Horta is going to take right-footed in-swinger for Olympiacos. Jovetic right at the back post, now running along the goal line, in it comes onto the 6-yard line. Great play from Terracciano. Good goalkeeping. 0-0.
Yeah, really nice hands there under pressure. And that's everything you want from your goalkeeper in a situation like that. At this stage of the game, if they come off their line, come in looking for something, you want them to just grab it with both hands. He did it perfectly.
Long ball downfield for Fiorentina, looking for Gonzalez, who couldn't control it. Ball skims off the top of his boot and behind for a goal kick, but he did put his thumb up to appreciate the attempt to find him. We're in the last minute of the first period of extra time on TalkSport 2. Still, Olympiacos 0, Fiorentina 0 in this Europa Conference League final.
Can't see where that outstanding chance is coming from, Grant. I just can't. To me, both teams now have eliminated them. None of them are playing out from the back. Zalakis again hasn't done it all night long. Every time he's had a goal kick, not once has he rolled the ball short. He's hit it 60 yards every time. He just has again.
El Khabi picks the ball up for Olympiacos, 30 yards out. They try and give it back to him inside the area with a lofted pass, but it's comfortable again for Terracciano to claim. Gonzalez deep inside his own half, turns away from Iborra. Now Dodo, the right fullback, steps inside his man, but as he runs toward the halfway line, the referee says that'll do it for half-time. In extra time, so 15 minutes of football left before the lottery of penalty kicks will have to decide the winner of the 2024 Europa Conference League final here on TalkSport. And a change being made by Fiorentina, and Biraghi has gone off, and Luca Ranieri, who scored 3 goals in the Conference League, and Fiorentina youth, his best ever season in terms of appearances, Luca Ranieri, he is coming on, and Beltran is also coming on, who I mentioned earlier was warming up in the second half. I think Olympiacos have made a change as well. We'll get to all those in a minute, but what is for certain is that Beltran and Ranieri are on for Fiorentina, and Olympiacos get play restarted down the right hand side. 0-0 the score, 15 minutes of football left to play. And the ball's out on the centre circle, and it's taken down and sent out to Andre Horta down the left hand side for Olympiacos, paced up by Dodo. Good early ball to the far post, headed up and out. Looked dangerous for a moment, but Beltran will get his first involvement in the game.
Nico Gonzalez might have gone off for Beltran. Ranieri's in at left back for obviously for Biraghi.
I think Georgios Masouras has come on for Olympiacos down the right hand side.
Is that Podence?
It may well be for Podence. Hasn't been confirmed on my screen as to who's gone off.
Yeah, I think he has.
Yeah, it's Podence that's gone off. It's been confirmed. The ball's headed back to Terracciano. So Podence has put a shift in tonight.
Yeah, he did.
Sure, Gary O'Neill will be keeping more than a weather eye on that.
Well, he's sharp and lively, Daniel Podence, and was always involved in a lot of those early raids that Olympiacos were stitching together.
Ball is back with the centre-half David Carmo for Olympiacos, and sent downfield by Solakis. So Biraghi and Gonzalez off for Fiorentina to allow Beltran and Ranieri to come on. Here is Masouras down the right hand side, looks to work across into the box, volley cleared by Milenkovic. Here is Iborra, good ball for Horta down the inside right channel, it'll make his way out to the right hand side, and Heza. Horta goes again down to the corner flag, tries to whip across in. I think he was trying to win a corner actually, and it just ended up dribbling through to Terracciano. 0-0 it stays. A couple of minutes gone in the second half of extra time.
Again, El Carby has had a frustrating night. It's been difficult for him. He's been waiting for a bit of service. Those games against Aston Villa, he got good supply from his midfield players. And the balls over the top always were favouring him, and he made something of them tonight. He's never really had anything, has he, significant to run onto.
Here is Alfred Duncan, the Ghanaian, looking out to this near side for Dodo for Fiorentina. Quickly across came Quini, the left back, out of play for a Fiorentina throw. A couple of minutes have gone in the second period of extra time. Goalless in the Europa Conference League final. If you're just tuning in to TalkSport 2, it's been tight, it's been tense. Fiorentina probably had the edge at half-time going into the second half, but it's been pretty even since then, wouldn't you say, Andy Townsend?
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree.
Now, long ball downfield looking for Nzola. It might drop here for Barak for Fiorentina. Slides it down the right-hand side of the box. Space for Ikone. Tries to drift inside his man, but good defending by Quini. And Horta feeds the ball up to halfway, but Fiorentina will intercept. Ikone again. Keeps the ball away from Iborra and works it back to Milenkovic on halfway. He's got the captain's armband now. Milenkovic. Ball played into the feet of Mandragora. Good ball out to the left-hand side, and Beltran has just come on as a substitute. Now Duncan. Whistles go up around the stadium because the Italians are keeping possession well, knocking the ball around. Dodo cushions a header onto the chest of Ikone at the edge of the area. Now Barak takes over. Duncan again slides down the left-hand side of the box. Good work. Beltran plays it across. Barak with a shot to miss. Ikone with a drive. Blocked away by the goalkeeper. Dodo with a cross from the right-hand side. And again Olympiacos have men there to clear it away.
That's the best passage of play I think Fiorentina have put together all night. Really good football. Down their right side, out to the left. And that cross that Ikone got on didn't really get full purchase on the shot. Certainly Zalakis still had to be sharp and agile and get to his left, dive, spring to his left to get his left hand on it.
We play on at 0-0. We've got just over 10 minutes of football to play here in this Europa Conference final on TalkSport 2. Ian Danter and Andy Townsend with you this Wednesday evening. Heza for Olympiacos, looking out to the right wing. It might drop for El Kabi here, the goal machine for Olympiacos, who's had a quiet night, intercepted by Mandragora, but his ball downfield is way overhit. Anvil in his boot job, and it bounces through to Solakis. Long ball downfield for Olympiacos, might break down the right-hand side. It does for Masouras. Now Rodney coming forward. Masouras is out there again on the right wing. Can he deliver a cross? He can. Deep at the far post is Jovetic, but that's a super claim inside his 6-yard box by Terracciano, the Fiorentina goalkeeper. 0-0.
Yeah, really good claim that one actually. Deep cross, and the goalkeeper made sure of it, watched it all the way and hung on to it really well.
0-0. And here's Ikone down the Fiorentina right, up against Quini. 10 yards from the corner flag, works it back to Dodo. Infield it goes to Barak. Barak works it back still further to Duncan in the centre of the Olympiacos half, and it goes back a little bit further to Quarta. Duncan again. Barak. Best possession spells that Fiorentina have had all game here, even if they're not doing much with it. Now they're moving and inching further forward. Barak with a diagonal ball, looking for Beltran. He got the header in at the far post, tried to nod it down for a teammate, but Olympiacos volley it clear. Guided back into the Fiorentina half, and there captain Milenkovic squares it for Quarta. He just hits a Hail Mary down the centre of the pitch, looking for the run of Nzola, and Olympiacos defenders get a bit of a muddle between three of them, and they end up conceding a corner.
Yeah, Quini it was there with his right foot. The left-sided defender wasn't quite sure and swung his right leg at it, shanked it out for a corner.
Rolando Mandragora just winding up the Fiorentina fans behind that goal to the right that Fiorentina are attacking. Left-footed in-swinging corner to come from him. Hits it now, deep to the far post. Punched away somewhat awkwardly by the keeper. Fired back in, or is attempted to be fired back in. But away come Olympiacos on the counter-attack. Ball clips out to Jovetic on the left-hand side. Tries to step inside Duncan, who fouled him, obstructed him. Free kick to Olympiacos, midway point of the Fiorentina half, 0-0.
Not sure I agree with that call. I think Stevan Jovetic is very fortunate there. I think the defender read exactly where he was trying to do with that. It was Masouras actually who broke free there on the halfway line. I thought he should have maybe travelled with the ball a little further, because Jovetic is never going to run anybody. But as it is, they get an opportunity. Horta out on this left-hand side, midway into the Fiorentina half, has got a chance to swing something in. The white shirts, the Fiorentina defenders, holding a really high line outside of the box, 2 or 3 yards outside of the box. So this delivery's got to give his own players a chance to get on the end of it.
Horta's last free kick from the left-hand side, but closer to the touchline, was beautifully delivered and just evaded everybody. El Kaabi went up with a header and just couldn't connect. The referee will now allow the kick to be taken. I think he's had a word with somebody on the coaching staff on the halfway line, and Horta just comes to check that the ball's sitting up nicely for him to strike it. 0-0 the score, 7 minutes to go on TalkSport 2. Deadlock still to be broken in this final. Horta takes the kick for Olympiacos, headed away by the first defender. Dodo had to make it. There were a couple of Olympiacos players stealing in behind him, and Dodo now in his right back position clears his lines. Good chest control from Nzola, but there are red and white shirts around him. Almost immediately got that chest control down, and the Greek side won it back, 0-0.
Iborra, it was, did really well there, made sure that I sensed Nzola might be trying to run through with that.
Now long ball forward, Masouras, again the furthest player forward for Olympiacos, and volleyed it away from the penalty area. He was trying to find a teammate. It was like he was helping out Fiorentina get the ball away.
Yeah, it was a long ball that found Masouras in behind the Fiorentina back line. Instead of maybe controlling it and waiting, he just hoofed it back where it come from.
It's the sort of thing I'd do. And I'd get the sort of look that you just gave me as well when he did it. If I was doing it in Breakfast versus Drive in those days when we had those games for TalkSport. Now Olympiacos win it back. 4-on-3 here for a moment. El Kaabi out to the left-hand side. Horta, left-hand corner of the area. Early ball into the box. Great defending by Milenkovic, getting in front of El Kaabi, but it's not clear yet. Olympiacos have it back down the left-hand side. Heza with the ball into the area, and it's gone in! El Kaabi! The goal machine for Olympiacos! 5 minutes to go! The ball was tossed into the area. El Kaabi gambled at the near post. 11 goals in the Europa Conference League, and Olympiacos are just minutes away from their first ever European trophy. Ayoub El Kaabi makes it Olympiacos 1, Fiorentina 0.
Do you know, when the Fiorentina defenders were protesting to the referee about the previous attack, they felt there that someone was offside, or the flag should have gone up, someone was impeded, because they all stood and they were arguing with the ref as the ball got whipped in, and El Kaabi hardly had a kick, got across the front of his man. I'd like to see what sort of contact dance he actually got on this. We're about to witness it now. Just making sure, is he offside? It's going to be close. It's going to be very close. Almost goes in off his chest. The ball bounces in front of him.
Oh no, he's got his head to it.
Gets his head on it. He gets across Ranieri and gets his head on it and puts it in. But I tell you what, it's going to be checked and it's going to be close. There is no doubt. As this ball was swung in, El Kaabi was looking to just move ahead of Ranieri, the defender. He's got carded, El Kaabi, for taking his shirt off by the referee, but the goal is being checked. This is going to be really close.
So there's just a semblance of a hush around the Ike Stadium, because everybody knows that the VAR officials are having a look to make sure that that goal is legitimate. Meanwhile, El Kaabi just falling to his knees for a moment, almost in silent prayer. What a season he's had now. Fitting it would be that it would be him that got Olympiacos over the line if that was how it was going to play out. And Fiorentina, once again, are set to lose out in a major European final.
Well, everybody in the stadium holding their hands on head, holding their breath. Phones are all tuned in on the referee and what's going on out there. The referee waits and waits and waits for this decision.
We're seeing the replay again of the goal. It was swung in
so
by Hezza.
Is it the top of his shoulder? Is it?
Yeah, it looks. I mean, the semi-automated offsides are, of course, in operation here, so they have that sort of transparent wall that they use to determine
this is so
on or
close,
offside. And still we're waiting for a decision. It's 2 minutes since the goal went in.
Yeah, it is incredibly close, this one.
Really is. I guess they're having to make sure because it's a European final.
But if it's the semi-automated stuff, I thought it was
clearer and quicker. As listeners from TalkSport join us, we're waiting for a goal check decision from VAR to see whether Olympiacos might have stolen the Europa Conference League final right at the end. Ayoub El-Kaabi, their top scorer, looked to have headed them in front in the 117th minute from a Santiago Hezza cross. But the VAR officials are checking, presumably, Andy Townsend, for an offside.
Yeah, they are.
In the build-up.
They're checking for an offside. Jovetic it was off the left side, stepped in on his right foot, swung it in, and El-Kaabi, marked by Ranieri, I mean, is so close. They've got it!
Confirmed! It's a goal for Olympiacos. It stands. There'll be a fair amount of extra time to add on at the end of extra time.
Yeah.
We're into the last minute of the 120 as it is.
I'd like to see the image of this one, Dan, so I really will. I'm sure it will come up sooner rather than later on our monitors, but it doesn't matter. El-Kaabi gets credited with the goal. He just nodded it past the goalkeeper from that little clever whipped-in cross, but it was such a close call, and it's been typical of this match. There's been nothing to choose between these two teams all night long.
So we're back underway at the Ike Stadium in Athens, and Fiorentina have got that sinking feeling once again, as they did last year in Prague when Jared Bowen got that winner for West Ham. Commentary continues on TalkSport 2 till the full-time whistle. It is Olympiacos 1, Fiorentina 0. And we're into that added time now. Fiorentina have got, it's all or nothing now for the Italians to try and force a penalty shootout. We don't know how many extra minutes have been added on as yet. 5 it is in actual fact now.
Well, they need to get it in the box, Fiorentina. That's it, they've got it wide. Now's a chance for Ikone.
Ikone, right wing, right-hand corner of the area, plays it back to the edge of the area, plays a 1-2, gets it back, brilliant block by at least 2 Olympiacos defenders on the 6-yard line.
What a brilliant 1-2 that was in the box, wasn't it? Ikone there, getting on the end of that pass from Beltran, very nearly equalising. Brilliant bit of football, but what a block.
There is going to be a change for Olympiacos. They're getting Yusuf El Arabi ready.
Love this 1-2, this little give and go here. He gets it back, Ikone, but there's 3 red shirts throwing themselves in front of the ball. First Iborra, then there's David Carmo. I think it's the centre-half who it actually hits in the end.
It was indeed David Carmo that got the vital block in. And the goal scorer, who got a yellow card for his celebrations, is taken off. Ayoub El-Kaabi will probably never have to buy a drink in Athens ever again.
I don't think so, do you? I think he might have 1 or 2 freebies coming his way over the next few weeks.
Yusuf El Arabi is on in his place for Olympiacos, who are so close to their first ever European trophy right now. But Fiorentina still have 3 minutes of added time to do something about this scoreline. Milenkovic heads it out of play. Olympiacos will have a throw and they will take their time over getting it back in play. I think Vicente Iborra thinks time's nearly up. Mate, there's 3 minutes left. El-Kaabi, meantime, is getting the congratulation of the unused substitutes down on the bench. And the anticipation down there is palpable. Olympiacos fans swinging their red and white scarves above their heads joyously, sensing that the moment is so nearly theirs. They've got a few more minutes to see out yet though. Fiorentina had the ball in their left back position, but they've given it offside. Offside flag goes up against Olympiacos. Free kick for Fiorentina, taken quickly out to the left hand side. Beltran, who came on as a late substitute, can he do anything to affect matters? Dodo gets the ball up to halfway. 2 minutes of added time to go. Olympiacos 1-0 up in extra time. Duncan sends a high ball down the left hand side. Beltran might let the ball drift out of play for a throw. Somehow kept from going out of play by Rodney, and he's won a throw in the end for Olympiacos, and he celebrates the fact that he's won a throw like he scored a goal.
Certainly does. Punch in the air. We're seeing images of the Fiorentina bench, and they're distraught, desolate, can't believe that another final has just got away from them.
Olympiacos 1, Fiorentina 0. 90 seconds of the minimum 5 are left to play. Rodney getting the ball back into play. Fiorentina have it back, but time is against the Italian side. They've got to do something and get the ball downfield quickly. It's with Quarta, the centre half. Barak turns the ball around the corner, just volleyed downfield. Anywhere will do for Olympiacos that's not in their own half of the field. Goes out of play for a throw-in, which I think the goalkeeper's going to take. Terracciano. Vincenzo Italiano telling Dodo to get the ball downfield. It's going to be a Hail Mary launch downfield by Duncan for the Italians. Up to the edge of the area, headed out by Carmo. TalkSport listeners, join us once again. 30 seconds of added time to go in extra time. Olympiacos are so nearly there, leading Fiorentina 1-0.
Got to go long now, right into the box. Here it comes.
Fiorentina send it long down the centre of the pitch. It bounces once inside the area. It almost dribbled through to Quarta, who'd stay forward, but the goalkeeper Solakis just collapsed on top of the ball, and Olympiacos are nearly there.
Yeah, they are. Solakis, the goalkeeper, has the ball in his hands. He's going to send it long, and they're all bouncing up and down on that Olympiacos bench. They know once this gets delivered, that's pretty much it.
The full-time whistle goes. Joy in Athens for the team from Athens. Olympiacos win their first ever European final